big desk.
See you guys.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in. A couple hours left on a pretty busy afternoon here as we get into the heart of big tech earnings coming. I mean, Tesla to start things off, Meta tomorrow, IBM tomorrow. We get Google this week, we get Microsoft this week. So going to be an absolute monster week for earnings across the board as we typically do. Let's give you a lay of the land here at 2 o'clock as far as the overall market is concerned. Just having a look right now at some yield action. Pretty quiet today. That's the dollar downside as well. Also helping things as far as equities are concerned. Big ugly red candle on the USD. Tesla, meanwhile, 2.4% back higher this afternoon after a bit of a choppy day yesterday to start the week, but here we go into earnings to the upside with the overall market. I'll show you the S&P here coming up. Worth noting, retailers kind of weak. Walmart down nearly 2% or more than 2% at the low, but 1.85 right now. There it is, standing out pretty red. Pepsi reported this morning, we were touching on it briefly, 2.25% to the downside as well. Everything else pretty much nicely positive on the day, including the big chip names NVDA almost 4% at the highs. Micron 3+, AMD 3+, AVGO, QCOM. You get the picture. Microsoft, Google, Meta, all coming up this week with earnings. Nice looking NASDAQ here at 2 o'clock. If you missed it this morning, this kind of helped things out as far as the market is concerned. That PMI data we got, services side for April, for me, thank you, 50.9 versus 52. The manufacturing side of things, 49.9 versus 52 expected. So both sides of the equation on the PMI from last month. Downside ever so slightly. Let's get into, as we typically do, at 2 o'clock, a little bit of a review. We touched on a whole bunch of things as far as opportunities go in the pre-market. Make sure you're with us every single morning between 8:30 and 9:30. We get you set for the open. Here's Spotify to kick things off. We were touching on their earnings, came out very early on this morning because they report over in European time. Spotify still with an absolute monster day, up more than 15% on the back of a nice beat.
You know, what's interesting about Spotify, and look, I'm not gonna sit here and talk negatively about the report, the quarter, the price action, all that good stuff on Spotify. It's up 15%, which is absolutely spectacular. But I'm just gonna throw this out there because, you know, we like to talk about trends. I think the trend is going to be your friend most of the time, and when you look for catalysts or you look for key moments in a chart, there's absolutely no question about it. Right about the beginning of the year, if you look at things, you know, right back at the end of the year in December and January, see this little move in here where things started to accelerate in Spotify? Interesting coincidence that the Markets podcast started around that time.
Oh, is that when it started? Yeah.
And Spotify is up. I mean, I'm going to do some loose math here. 60%. That's like 190 to 313. So let's call that 60%. I don't know. 60-something percent. 63.5%. I'm going to make that up. It's between 60 and 65%. That said, if you bought it yesterday, you still made 15%. It was great. The big thing I think was all about that higher tier, right? So they're able to get that premium tier number driving things. I didn't trade it. We don't necessarily always want to get into these earnings plays because liquidity at the open. But if you went for the dip buy into previous support, sorry about those wicks there, but like this is the open. It dips right into $300. Sometimes you can't make it up. It wicks the 300 level, and then you get that run into 320. So fresh highs. It did make a 52-week high and then pulled back. So it got to 320, pulling right back in. I would look at this 310 level. Like your highest close before that was around 310, 311. So that would be the interesting level for a dip. Oddly enough, that happens to be VWAP as well. So congratulations to Spotify. And you know, good to see that you guys here doing our little bit of a help. It's an interesting coincidence because you look at the chart, there is a pretty clear spot at which it ramps up on the daily. It just happens to be the same time.
Yeah, so we have a IBM looking at Hashi Corp right now, so apparently getting ready to buy these guys out. So we do have a halt right here, HCP, Hashi Corp, only a $5.6 billion company, but looks like IBM has some interest in Hashi Corp. So IBM dropping down about $1 and change. Obviously, if they get the deal done, you have to pay them in cash, or in shares. So we do see that. And apparently Datadog doesn't like this or is thinking about doing a dance. So the report came out that IBM is interested in some kind of a software company. Datadog goes down to 124, up to 131, now kind of just lasting in here. So I don't know if there's a connection here, but Datadog, HCP, and IBM all running right now, with HCP being the potential acquired, and then IBM is what I'm hearing in my ear right now, possibly being the acquirer.
They report after market.
IBM does?
Right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
April 24th.
Yeah, today's 23rd, yeah.
24th. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow after market.
Oh, tomorrow after market, yeah.
Yeah, because today's Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday.
Today's 23, yeah. All right, yeah, so we'll look at that. I mean, IBM should be a good one. I really like IBM. That's a name that I started buying a heck of a long time ago. It didn't do much for a minute, but now it is starting to go. So we'll watch IBM tomorrow, similar to how Spotify went today. Don't sleep on those names, man. When we talked about Spotify earlier, I shouted out Danielle Shea, and we talked about its implied move only being 9.3%, I think it was. And at that time, it was about 11.8 or 12%. And we said, look out for a continued move up. But now it's fading out. That move at 320 is really, I mean, that's cooking up there. That was a great short if you were. And maybe this is what we need to do. You know, even though you might not trade the earnings play, you still want to be able to look for key levels. And that 320, I mean, there might not be, as we'll run down this whole board, there might not be an easier triple, quadruple top anywhere out there. So that's a nice one at 320 on Spotify. Fade it if you dare next time it gets up there, but you're $8 away.
I was just reading more about this. 4.9 billion is the current market cap. So they're saying at a premium to its current market cap of 4.9 billion from the Wall Street Journal for HCP. So we'll keep an eye out for more details on that if it comes through. Let's touch on Apple here. We were talking about iPhone deliveries once again over in China. Ends up doing really not much so far today, only 0.5% to the upside. I mean, this is an old story. We've touched on it before, so to be expected.
I kind of feel like this is baked in already. China weakness, we already knew that ahead. But today, one of the analysts that keeps a tab on Apple suppliers in China, Ming-Chi Kuo, basically posted on X that Apple will look to cut their 2024 and 2025 Vision Pro shipments forecast. That's in addition to the weakness there on the iPhone. So that catalyst came in midday as well. The other one that came in midday, May 7th, Apple looking at having an event to launch the new iPad. Not really market moving for me because I think iPad's kind of done as a category or kind of exhausted. But nice to have an event there to get some eyes.
I was noticing yesterday as well, Google I.O. in 2 weeks. I think it's May 14th or May 15th, something like that. So I was actually watching at lunchtime a couple of reviews of the Pixel 9 that are already apparently floating around in the ether, but completely revamped.
Interesting.
Pixel 9. So we get, the Apple event, we get Google I.O. Coming up here in a little bit as well. This portion of the show brought to you by our friends at Alfonso's Adaptive AI. It predicts the best times to buy and sell stocks, helping you increase your odds on generating alpha. Join now and get 50% off the Pro monthly subscription using code TRADER50. Scan the QR code and download the app. Shout out to Alfonso AI, guys.
So, yeah, so we'll talk about Apple quickly because, I mean, I had it here as my #1 trade today. I really liked going short here on Apple. We talked about a break near 164 to the downside. That didn't happen. Then 166, we really liked that. But unfortunately, we just, by the way, like we just stacked up there. We went long. Do you guys remember this? If you were with me at 10:30 today, we were like, we're going long Apple. And people were like, uh-oh, he's revenge trading. So we went short. It came back in. We got that news that Brendan just mentioned a little bit there about they bumped up. They didn't bump it up. I think it's another they're having another call May 7th, some sort of a conference coming through where they're going to talk about chips. So that started to create all of this mess in here. Once it came back into the 200 period, we went long. And that's the long right there. Look at this, 165.70, right? 166.80. So right there, that's a dollar club right there on Apple. So bottoms to top, we have the low there, we have the low there. Apple, well served. Just wish it would have kept going down because then it would have been amazing. but we got stopped out there on that break of 60. That was our stop right into there. Fortunately, we were able to go long on the pullback, and now it doesn't seem so bad after taking $1 on the last bit. So yeah, so far so good. I like Apple here today to the short side, and it's been definitely a winning trade. Short early, long late. IBM, by the way, I mean,
just bounced off.
IBM ain't catching a break here. So not that they deserve a break. They are, it looks like, somewhat confirmed now. Hashi Corp stock up and halted on potential buyout here with IBM. So I don't think we have anything. It's the Wall Street Journal. So we'll wait to see what happens here. But IBM getting to the downside if you're wondering what's going on with international business machines.
Yeah, and it's a $5 billion potential deal. IBM's market cap's 165. So I mean, it's not a huge, $5 billion is not a gigantic company by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a couple of points on their, it's a couple of points on IBM's valuation. So it's under pressure right now. It's not really catching much of a bid, trying to hold that 180 level. Apple, I mean, it's not dissimilar. I only went short because the plan of action was short on Apple. It was starting to work in the money, and I just gotten VWAP when the news dropped. I got out when it made a local high after the news came out and just stayed away from it because everything had changed, and now you're getting a loose trend. But you know what? It has not broken the 167 quarter high. So with it a little bit stronger now, I'm looking for a press that holds yesterday's tops. There, now you can see a little bit better with my head there. So 167 and a quarter. If we get back up to 67, I'd look for the shorts out and above. But I can't imagine on this that IBM's going to fall forever. Oh, now it's catching a bid. You might have missed the chance to get this back through 180. You're not going to fall forever on them doing a $5 billion deal. But IBM trying to recover now, it looks like.
All right, let's talk Amazon groceries. We were very excited about this morning. Ends up being a pretty good day here. They faded the gap initially. It comes right back into yesterday's aftermarket levels and then straight to the upside with the overall market here. Unlimited key grocery delivery coming to, what was it, 3,500?
Yeah, 3,500 cities.
U.S. cities, yeah, U.S. to start.
And you're not going to need to spend that much.
No.
$35 is all you got to spend. That's like 2 items in Canada, so I don't know how much it is down south. And you get free delivery, about 30-minute pickups, depending on what you want to do. Also, if you're part of the electronic benefits transfer program, you're going to have a different account for that. You're going to pay only $4.99 a month for the Prime membership, and you'll have access to that as well instead of the regular $10 a month.
I'll say it right now. As soon as this comes here, I'm trying it.
100%.
Day one, I'm trying it.
All right, here we go. By the way, Amazon right here, trade idea number 2, and you're not going to find a better one than that. Let's go on that one. Let's go props up for that. Amazon long 176. Who would have wrote that down pre-market? There's no way someone would be able to tell that that went all the way down to 176, and I wish that someone was me. But there's that bottom tick. We have 2 of them. One at 176 there, one at 176.50, one at 176.10, and there's the move all the way to the upside. The problem is we started the trade too early, and then we didn't hold all the way up. So we nailed it. I cannot be more happy with this other than just we got in too early. But that's what I'm trying to do. Shout out to Dan McIsaac. I'm trying to give you and give myself the highest probability. That's why I only have 4 names traded. Highest probabilities, best trades, most amount of risk. That's the new style for me. Amazon, awesome opportunity. Unfortunately, we were wrong early. The problem is there we go. Now we're just talking about not having a wick. The problem, that's Amazon. Amazon had a wick. The problem on the market today, this is what I meant to do, was you see the market was going this way, while Amazon off the open was going this way. So I fought the law, and eventually the law won because it just kept on going to the downside until eventually it fell right into our lap. So we like that one, and this is what Dan was talking about. We also have, thank you so much, the coffee and the water. Tesla earnings today. We'll see what's going to go on with Tesla. Tesla's up 2% right now, Randy. Thank you so much for the water and all of that and the coffee. It's reloaded. But look at Palantir. Again, look at this. We talked about that. Shout out to Big Patty Ice behind me. I mean, this was a monster trade. This is going to be, it's not even close. PL1 today. Palantir, boom. It gets to that 22 level. And as we discussed it in the pre-market, if we ever get up here, let's make it PL1. So that's exactly what we did. And I mean, remember, guys, we're talking about this. We talked about that Roblox break. We talked about all this stuff. Best ideas for me, most amount of shares. That's what's really been working out this month, and it's amazing, guys. It's amazing when you get something and it starts to work. So, you know, stick with your plan, and we always say stay in your grind, and you'll be able to grind out some profits here. There's only a couple positive traders on the floor, so today's not the easiest day. So watch out now as big tech is here. It's 161 on the NASDAQ, man. I mean, that's like even the ES. The ES hasn't had a 2% move in forever. And I mean, you're not going to get it today. But I don't, you know, it's just that's how aggressive the move is today. And we'll go over all the sectors and stuff. Join me and Adara tonight on the recap show, where we'll have Tesla and we'll have the one and only Brian Shannon coming through as well. So we got all the hitters lined up tonight. HCP, is it back open? So it's not that HCP is a monster. I see what you're saying in the chat.
No, it's open.
This is the buyout.
It's open.
So there's rumors. I'm not going to say it's confirmed yet because I don't know.
It's flying.
But it's open and it's flying. So when you're going to get a software name that's going to get bought out, it looks like it was IBM was the name that's interested. IBM, obviously, nicely done to the downside there. People like the deal. Look what's happening to IBM now. But HCP, Hashi Corp, I know nothing about it, but it is starting to go to the upside. And I think
it's 6.5% short as well.
That's the other thing. So Datadog was moving around. So the thing is, sometimes when you get plays like this, like if US Steel gets bought out, Nucor will get bumped up, like different things like that. So we actually talked about Take-Two earlier and why it didn't move much based on ATVI, and of course Take-Two today. Look, we talked about it. Where's my guy Fabian? We talked about this in the pre-market. Take-Two now straight up from there. So yeah, Hashi Corp and all that. All right, well, that was Amazon.
But
so
one thing, I didn't trade Amazon today, but I'll point out, because a couple people rightfully noted this, sometimes you look at the sympathy play, and that can be something. Instacart's down 6% on that. And it was weak at the open. It made a bit of a rally, but couldn't even get back to the opening range tops. It's trying to hang on to VWAP. If the market rolls over, I mean, Instacart through VWAP, look, if Amazon comes at you, I love Instacart. We actually, candidly speaking, you know, since the pandemic, I think it's been a pretty good service. And we talked a little bit about that in the morning. But if this can't hold VWAP when you've already got some bad news coming in, the stock just lost a 50-period moving average. I didn't even realize it made this good of a run off the bottoms, those IPO lows. Like, how great was this? Look at the consolidation, 24, 25, and the breakout, but now it's losing the 50-period. That's a momentum break here on news for Instacart. I'm short three names. Rivian's flat, but Micron and Intel are working nicely to the downside. We'll talk chips at the end of the rundown, but let's see what's going on in, I won't say EV land, but in General Motors, because we also have Ford coming up next, right? So the legacy names leading the way for the automotive sector all of a sudden.
Yeah, some of these charts are a little deceiving. Most of these moves happening in pre-market time. We had a huge move on GM this morning. It has never revisited the high. Hasn't really done much. It's been kind of choppy, to be honest. But Q1 beat. They also raised their full 2024 outlook.
This was a beat from anywhere you look at it. Beat on the top and bottom line. Guidance well above expectations. Let's talk about it from the earnings perspective. 26% year-over-year increase on earnings, up to $2.95 billion. Revenue was up as well, solid $7.6 billion, up to $40 billion a year. Now they're looking at revenue. The guidance here, $12.5 to $14.5 billion in revenue for the coming quarter, but it was really all driven by North American pickup truck sales. That's what really kept the boat afloat, Brendo. And they did comment about their EV production. They still plan on producing about 200,000 to 300,000 vehicle EVs this year. I
had one of those experiences the other day when I was walking down the street and you hear that like hum of the electric motor coming behind you. And in my mind, it was like, oh, here comes a Tesla.
Is it a Hummer?
No, it was the Volt or the little hatchback.
Yeah,
but I was surprised. I thought it was for sure a Model 3 or something.
Yeah, I feel like the thing I love about them is how quiet they are. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, and I know that sound.
No, I know the hum you're talking about.
Yeah, when they back up, there's a sound there. Shout out to everybody that owns. Are we talking Tesla or GM?
No, it's
Funny
GM.
that we don't have Tesla. I mean, Tesla's going to report. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll
later.
definitely, at the end, we got to talk about chips. It's weird that the rundown Tesla aftermarket reports and the chips have been flying all over the place, but we'll talk about that as well. I just didn't like GM at this 46 level because of overhead resistance. This is the only, I said I'm probably not going to trade it, but if you pull back the daily chart, you had this high at about 47 right in here that was resistance, and then you're making a nice little roundy face, so it was breaking out at top, but right into old school overhead resistance on General Motors. So what happened when it tried to go at the open? It immediately failed that top, and it hasn't, unless for some reason you like to dip by at a very random price in GM, it would have been a really tricky trade today. It didn't quite fall far enough for you to go long off of like a previous resistance. I'll zoom out, so it didn't really get far enough for that. Nothing to do. Maybe you could have played with VWAP in the afternoon for a small scalp trade, so we stayed away from it, I think rightfully so, only because it's remotely adjacent. I don't know, it's how else are we going to segue to? I haven't traded Tesla today, but I had Rivian off the $9 level. It then failed. We took the hit on that, and then it put in a double top, so we shorted the double top, got some back into VWAP, reloaded it, and now we're back into Rivian. So the second time through has been a little bit better with this level, giving it to the 9.25 and shorting it at 9.19, 9.20. But yeah, no GM for me. That said, we do like that look, that day 2, day 3. Come back at the end of the week. If General Motors can hold 45 here, take out the 47 level, I think that's a little bit more exciting. Today it couldn't get through that 46, but if it can hold up here and break out 47, it's a much more significant break.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was just going to look. GM hasn't done much today, so not overly exciting, and neither has Ford. So unfortunately, there hasn't been much. We had that early dip down into sort of yesterday's close. I feel that, again, another sort of sympathy play here with good GM report. We'll see what Ford can put up tonight. So tonight or tomorrow morning? Tomorrow morning. So we'll see Ford coming through. I really like them for the longer term. But again, like, you know, we've already talked about EV weakness. We know Ford and GM are more hybrid based. So I don't know. I just don't, I mean, the rates are high. And consumers, I don't know if they're swapping into new cars. So right now, Ford and GM obviously having to deal with that problem, having to deal with, you know, the Tesla sort of headwinds, I guess, in the EV space. And that, like, if they're not able to, if they're seeing lower demand, then, you know, how in the heck is someone going to be driving around in one of those Volts if they're not going to take a Model 3 or something? So, again, I'm a little worried. The over-under yesterday, we had 142 at the open. That's still to be determined. So 9.5% move. We're going to see what happens. I thought Tesla had a reason to go up today just because it was beat down so much heading into earnings. And that bid down there at 141 was pretty remarkable really early. We're lucky enough, like I said, to get Amazon and Apple and all that back upside, but that was a great one at 141. There's no doubt about that. 146.50, again, a good top. I will not trade this name. So I've already sort of told you about the kind of focus that I have right now, and you're going to believe me, but when next is Roblox, again, another sticky note name. I haven't looked up or traded, obviously if I haven't looked it up, any chip names whatsoever, and I was just looking. AMD is a monster, and so is NVIDIA for me this month. So again, I was doing that research during the midday there, and I'm surprised. I haven't looked at either one of those. But we're going to keep watching Tesla here into the close. Could be some exciting movements, but I think that they're going to report almost instantly. So join me, Adara, and Brian Shannon for the closing show, and we'll have the earnings right there for you as we're expecting lower demand.
Yeah. We were just saying, I still say down for Tesla tomorrow. We'll see. Roblox, nice move out of the gate this morning. Gaps higher, holds the gap, and runs on this. JP Morgan with a really, really positive note this morning on RBLX, going to 48 bucks.
Yeah, a nice pop up there from 41 and maintaining that overweight rating. Here's what they said. The crux of our bull thesis is that we believe Roblox has a significant monetization opportunity and management focus on margin leverage, which we expect to result in free cash flows compounding 40% plus year over year. So, I mean, that's a whole lot of jargon, but JP Morgan analyst likes it, and he's looking at some upside.
Any trades today, guys, for Roblox?
Sure. I mean, Roblox, before we opened up, gets an upgrade from just reading the tweet. this morning. Gets an upgrade from JPM. If it can clear 37.10, there's room for more. Could dip first at open, but alert set for that level for the break. So Roblox, here's the reason why. This is the local high at 37 from last week. It was actually 37.10 essentially. There's the dip at the open, and then it was a rip. The last trade, I'll go to a 3-minute chart so you get an idea of what happened here, because it was back into a VWAP bounce. That's what I'm sitting in. So the breakout trade gave you to 37.5. Tried to reload at 37. That was mixed. Essentially a flat trade because I got some out and then took the hit on the rest. So it was basically, you know, 1 for 1 both ways. And then it bounced off VWAP here, saw the bounce off VWAP, came back in, and long off VWAP essentially with a stop underneath this 36.65 level. So currently in a different trade, but the breakout trade was pretty clean, 37 to 37.5. It's about 1 point on a move. And the other thing about Roblox is the potential continuation play, because it's really testing the 200 period moving average. It has a chance to close above the 200 period after just spending a week underneath. So that would be a nice little recovery, and then you'd have a little bit of room for more. So JP Morgan with the upgrade, and Roblox with the good setup.
Oh shit, Randy brought this coffee. We got stopped out of our TQs there, so we will actually wind up being red because we just took that last hit right there, but that's on that last trade.
IBM's all the way back.
All the way back, yeah.
I mean, effectively.
The market's breaking, and I think we just need to get some longs. Oh yeah, Roblox. So again, Roblox is going to be, again, like I was saying, another positive name here. We took that break. We wrote it down as it was written on here, 37.15. That's exactly the price that we took. And like I said, I traded a little bit differently with just more shares and scalped it out. At the end of the day, it was a great trade. It broke back down through 37. That's the end of that one. I really like Roblox here. I think it's a long-term story. But again, they're not announcing daily active users anymore and some stuff like that, or some kind of metrics that they used to announce, or monthly active users, I believe it was. So not great. You're just gonna have to wait for the report and or upgrades. But if JP Morgan likes it, I like it. You know, I don't do the research into that kind of stuff. I just know that, hey, they have a lot of cool games. There's, you know, new technologies happening. I still think that the Apple, you know, I might just go long Apple now, even up here. Well, that was such a good out up there. That the Apple Vision Pro still has something to say with Roblox. So I still think there's a lot to do here in the market. Did we just get wicked out on that top? All right, so a little bit of volume happening there. I'm going to start to get, oops, sorry about that. Let me show you that wrong stock. I just back in the TQs here at 50. The reason I said that, I just was looking right here on the NASDAQ. Like, what's up with that? I'm fine with that happening and getting taken out there. That's 17,650. We actually talked about trying to be long if we broke above 17.5. And I mean, it did that right here and didn't really, I mean, there we broke, came back. That was nasty. That's 30 handles. That's an L. But once we've held, probably this pullback there and then whoop to the upside was pretty nice. But that 17,650, again, we can pull this out. I should maybe talk less and trade more here because I'm only in a small position. So no matter what happens, I really feel like now you got to go to 17,750. So there's really not that much here. What is this level? Now I feel like I'm cherry picking and I do not want to do this. So I don't want to like just go out and find levels just for the sake of trying to be short. Okay, so this is something that we're going to have to flip over mentally and get away from the short. So that little wick high there in the NASDAQ, we're lucky to get out. I mean, we were fine. But there's the wick higher right there into 60. So I'm thinking a break over 60 is something that we're going to just say that's enough. You know, you want to retest that wick high, cool by me. We're not in a lot of shares, but I want to just see it break it. So we're getting close right now, a break of 60, and we are Branzino on that one, Gonzino on that, and we'll see what happens now. But that's it. Just reloading one more time into the high side here for the NASDAQ. Breaks it, it breaks it. Fine, no more fighting the Fed on this one.
Yeah, and well, I mean, the Fed...
Yeah, Fed has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, we're in earnings season, man, and if the market is liking to somehow buy into tech earnings, whether I think that's the right move or not, actually, I sold some Eli Lilly today. I'll get into that in a second. But as the market's breaking highs, ARM is almost back to that high, the 98 level from earlier. So with holding VWAP, it was sometimes it's the right call to get out in front of the low, but ARM got up to 98, it curled, tried to make a breakout, put in a lower high. If we get back up and he double tap that high, I do like that short trade. And then the other thing is, like, I mean, Intel's down, NVIDIA's up 4%, Micron's up 3%. I'm in Micron, I'll get to that in a quick second. But look at this top, Intel can't break as the market's going higher. And it's flat on the day. They're the ones that actually report this week in the sector. And it is looking, excuse me, sorry I couldn't. I haven't sneezed all day today. I actually didn't sneeze yesterday. The trick for me has been more local honey, so I was told is a good thing for allergies. Anyways, whether or not that's true.
You're told that by someone that produces
Fabian.
honey. Oh, Fabian.
Fabian was the one that you should
more
have
local
honey. Though I guess the idea would be like
what's the reasoning behind that?
So like they pollinate like the local stuff, and it's a local like.
No, but if you're sneezing a lot, you're supposed to eat honey.
Yeah, it's allergies. It's allergies. So pollen allergies. So if you're eating the honey.
Okay, so if you have a lot of allergies, you're supposed to have honey.
The local honey specifically, like from around where you live. Yeah, if you have seasonal allergies, I don't know, whatever. I tried it, and apparently it's still. I tried. I'll try anything. It's honey, so it's not a big deal. Put it in tea. But Intel can't break the highs. And one thing I was saying earlier, and why I was in ARM, if something is failing to break the tops when the market is trending higher, then that's a good resistance level. So 3460 is the high. Micron came into a pretty key level. That's not going to, yeah, there we go. Actually shows okay on the 3-minute chart. So if you go all the way back to last week where you had the big dump-offs at the end of the week, Micron 113 was where this thing settled down. And then it got up here, tagged the 113. I shorted underneath that, thinking we're getting a VWAP retracement. Let me get back on the offer in front of 113 again, and only reload things that are, as the market's pressing highs, you got to be giving me lower highs, and then I like it. Randy, what's up? Hold on a second, did you have that cut this morning?
Got it yesterday.
Okay.
You say what's up to my guy over there? Is that where you went? Oh, yeah. Halim's been on, he's been on YouTube before. All right. So yeah, no, right here, Randy, look, I mean, this is Tesla right here. They dropped the price $5,000 or something like that on full self-drive. So here on the daily, it's not super exciting, but we do have a nice bump up there from 141. But this is what she's looking like right now. This is the daily. We broke through that 150 level. So, you know, next.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to become a commodity.
Grab the mic.
I think FSD will be like air conditioning in the 80s. You know, it'll come back as eventually as a default on a lot of cars.
Okay.
So they amortize the cost of FSD into the platform. Everybody's going to have it at some point.
Right.
You know, AI is coming. AI is here now, and we have FSD built into everything we buy. Okay. So at some point they build it into the price of the car, of any car, of the platform itself. And you amortize that cost over the lease or over the purchase. I know I'm moving around here.
That's okay.
I think he's going in the right direction. Honestly, I really do. I think it's going to be part of the platform. It's just a piece of software. It's all it is.
Yeah, no, I actually like the subscription model where they were charging $200 change a month for that because then they get the recurring revenue. But
you can't do that forever.
With the current, that's the thing. But why can't you?
Because at some point, even the base model, people want, as I said, air conditioning, power locks,
so
windows.
One day it's going to be free.
I'm old, but let's roll back to the 80s when everybody had the crank down windows, and you know, at some point you want the toys. So, and at some point it becomes cost effective enough to produce it that everybody gets it. So I think it's coming. I think he's going in the right direction.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I still like the robo-taxi idea. We'll see what that goes through. I think the market got hit on no Model 2 news. There.
You just have to be patient with it, that's all.
Yeah, you do. All right, so we got back. Yeah, I mean, if you're not patient with Tesla, then...
No, at this point, like...
At this point, then you should have been out a long time ago. I mean,
insane.
I still like the story. I like everything that he's doing. So, all right, let's just...
$1,200 price
I mean,
target.
not everything.
Did you hear there was...
oh, that's 40.
It was one of Kathy Wood's minions. It wasn't Kathy Wood herself. It was someone else giving the interview. And they were still... like $1,200 price target. Yeah, it was still overly aggressive, but at least it was you got to wait a couple of years because right now, demand issues. But I like that notion. Look, at the end of the day, if the way that it works is it's just in every single vehicle eventually, if they're the first to get it right, then they're the ones that win on RoboTaxi. I have to watch my neighbor have it like automatically back in, like the nice little slow back in when it pulls it, when it backs into his garage, and I'm like, I'm too lazy to actually do it manually myself. Well, you get a little bit jealous when you don't have that feature. So I can see everyone's gonna want it, there's no question about it. The weed names are making some power moves this afternoon, so I just wanted to, acknowledge it. Oh, Tilray just in time. I know people like Tilray. I get it. But it's never Tilray. It's always CGC and ACB. And it's not to crap on Tilray, it's just price action, and price action is truth. CGC looking like it's making another run at $9 here today. So a little bit of a breakout. I think VWAP looks good. If it can break the top and consolidate over 9, I think you got a little something here. So super strong move for CGC. ACB, you got 14 CGC, you got ACB at 17%. And because we were asked about it, well, I just saw it in the chat as well, Tilray up 8%. So this is actually the best day Tilray's had in a while, but as usual, it's a fraction of what you're seeing on the other main names there. And the daily chart, I mean, the good news would be that it's early in the move, I suppose, for Tilray. Like, this is actually a bit of a bounce off the bottom. That's not a bad sign. It's just not nearly as strong as you see in CGC and ACB.
All right, let's, so I'm still short the market here, but we need to look for some more ideas. What's up to my lovely wife? I think she's watching. She just shouted Randy out in our chat. So she's like, Randy.
What's up, Randy?
She knows Randy. All right, you know what's really Randy is when you're taking Ubers around. I think Uber, I was just looking at that stock up here. There's always a certain amount of names that I'm trying to go back to every day. I mean, Uber's up 2.5% here. I mean, a great high and a great VWAP dip buy opportunity again. I mean, Uber here, just since we've been looking at it, look at this. There's VWAP here at 11. Here's VWAP again at 12. Here's VWAP again at 130. I think Uber's a buy if we can get down into VWAP again. So that's $70, 50 cents or so. I kind of like that look there for Uber. It's not a missed trade of the day. It's just, oh my God, did we nail this one? The Amazon long at 176. Let's just keep doing what we're doing, man. We're looking for catalysts. We're looking for reasons. And that Amazon trade down there, look, we talked about it. Whole Foods, grocery delivery, subscription model. You know, I think Amazon is firing off on all cylinders right now. Amazon Web Services.
I love Amazon.
You know,
I think they're one of the...
Prime Video.
They win in so many ways.
What are we watching on Amazon Prime? Well, there's something there.
Oh, there's a couple of, well,
There's Reacher.
Well, if you're, like, I don't know if you watch The Boys.
Well, that's the one that I've seen a little bit of it, but
there's a spin-off for The Boys called it's like Gen Z or something like that. So basically it's like, it's the same storyline, but it involves like college kids. So it's like So
they're just older. What, The Boys was high school? Or?
No, The Boys are like, they're adult superheroes.
Oh, okay.
And then it's the same storyline essentially.
Oh, Fallout.
But you like that, and then Fallout's the most recent thing I watched. But The Boys is on fire. I like The Boys way more than Fallout. And I love Reacher as well. Amazon's got some good stuff out there. It's solid. I mean, if I look at it, if it's not for, if you didn't have Star Wars and you didn't I didn't have kids, then I'd have Amazon, Apple, and Netflix ahead of Disney.
Right.
But the hours watched because of those two factors alone, like Star Wars and my daughter, means that Disney's up there for us.
Yeah.
But I've probably watched more Amazon than Netflix in the last few months. But that's
more
mostly
Amazon than Netflix.
But that's because I was watching Fallout and Reacher. They're great shows.
Well, Fallout's pretty new. I think. Maybe a week.
I watched it because Brendan mentioned it on the pod. Was it Brendan or you that mentioned it on the podcast?
I think we were both talking about it because.
It was one of you guys. I don't know.
Oh, there's a new Ryan Reynolds thing called Fall Guy. There's a new. Huh? Gosling, not Reynolds. I can't ever tell the difference.
Oh, they're both Canadian. Right?
Which one's Knuff?
They're both Canadian.
Which one's the Ken guy?
No, it's Gosling.
That's Gosling. I like him the best.
Hold on, what's it called?
Fall Guy.
Fall Guy.
It's with Ryan Gosling and
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, the girl from Oppenheimer.
Oh, it's got the guy from I know this other guy too. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Isn't that what
guy
it
as
is?
well.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't Emily Blunt? Wasn't she in a sitcom?
No, she was
Like a
Emily
weekly
Blunt's in the.
show?
Was she not?
Was she never on TV?
Was she?
I don't know.
I
Devil
know her
wears,
from the
Devil
Tom
Wears
Cruise
Prada.
movie. She
Hey,
was,
Ramin, keep telling me movies in my ear so I
she
look smarter.
kicked butt in
So she's from
Day After
that-
Tomorrow. That's the,
Well, yeah,
movie repeats every day.
We have it up over there.
But the other thing is Lee Majors is in it, the Bionic Man,
Ooh.
which is, anyways, if you're
on,
old,
Palantir.
if you're old, you know the Bionic Man. However, everybody stay popping off because it is 2:40. We are locked and loaded. We've got a guest of the day, locked and loaded at the desk with Brendan.
One, typically.
Okay.
One a day. Yeah.
It'd be exhausting.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Zafiro Methane with us this afternoon. Talal Debs is founder and CEO of the company. Brand new listing today on Cboe Canada. Congratulations. Exciting
Thank you
day.
very much. We couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and a positive day for the stock as well. You and I were just mentioning ZEFI. If you want to go check it out, guys, on the Cboe Canada here in Toronto. This is a fascinating space, and I want to talk a little bit about the company to start things off. Tell us about Zafiro Methane, because there's not a lot like this, and your approach here is a little bit different. But give us an overview here of the company.
Well, thanks very much. We are an environmental services business focused on abating methane from leaking orphaned oil and gas wells. So there's a lot there, because when we started doing this 2 years ago, most people didn't know what methane was.
Right.
But it's the chemical constituent that we know of as natural gas.
Right.
And what's happened that a lot of people don't know is that there are literally millions of older oil and gas wells spotted across the US and Canada that were never really put to bed properly.
Okay.
And they're leaking methane gas into their communities at a rate that is, it's truly astounding. And it's something that is it's an environmental cleanup job that is big in scale, big in impact, and we want to lead the charge to deal with it.
So there's some people or some viewers might understand the term carbon capture in businesses that register or run in that carbon credit space. How is this different in the sense of how you're operating this?
Well, look, we definitely touch on the carbon credit space.
Right.
But our business, and by the way, I mean, I've been around the carbon markets, and our team has been around the carbon markets since at least 07, 08. So, you know, we know what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
But no, fundamentally what we do is we provide an environmental benefit through our operations. And our operations involve going into a leaking well site, removing the wellhead from the ground. So, you know, it's not just on the surface. We dig it out.
Yeah.
And before we did that, we sealed downhole 2 different seals to make sure that nothing can get back up out of that old hole and seep into the atmosphere, into the soil, into the water. And that environmental benefit is something we can monetize in a few different ways. There's a traditional corporate way of doing it. So these would be oil companies will pay us to come in and do the environmental improvement on their property. Mm-hmm. Now the government is getting into the act, especially over the last couple years. The U.S. federal government released $4.7 billion just to dealing with old orphan oil and gas wells,
Right.
cleaning them up. So in that sense, the governments are paying for us to come in and do that, provide that environmental benefit for the community benefit.
Yeah.
And then what we're finding now is that the environmental markets, and you know that's the broader word for the carbon markets, are actually really happy to pay us for the carbon equivalent emission reduction that happens on a lot of these wells, especially the ones where they're big leakers. And we think that's another third revenue stream for us, and
Right.
it's allowing us to grow at a very quick pace.
Just to back up quickly, for anyone who's wondering, the term orphaned well, if they're hearing that for the first time, what does that mean?
It is something that almost, you know, also when we started this, we would talk about methane and people would say, what's that? And then we'd say orphan well, and a lot of people don't know that either. So an orphan well, as the name would suggest, is a well that no longer has a parent. And what that means is that when an oil and gas operator signs up to exploit a resource, they promise in writing to all the parties involved, the royalty owner, the land, the government, that they're going to come back at the end of everything and clean it up when they're done. And what's happened over the course of time, due to various reasons, is that a lot of these wells, through bankruptcies a lot of times, get separated from that responsibility to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
So when the state wants to send a bill to some company to go clean up the well, that company is now bankrupt.
Yeah.
So that's resulted in the United States, the Environmental Defense Fund estimated, I think last I saw, 3.7 million orphan wells in the US.
Wow.
That's a stunning number. That's almost 4 times the amount of operating wells that we have going in the country. And so why is that remarkable? It's probably costs $100,000 US to plug a well and to clean it up properly. You know, give or take on average. Some are a lot more, some are less. And that's $370 billion needed to clean that up. And that's a huge market that we're going for.
And that's just the U.S.
Yeah.
Numbers on Canada or no?
So the numbers on Canada are also vast, and I don't have the technical detail down, but we've definitely been told by a lot of Canadians that this is a problem that's pretty rife here as well.
And opportunity as well in that. Talk a little bit about the integration here. How did the company become fully integrated?
Sure. We like to say we have a fully integrated service, and really what that is for the carbon credit part of what I described before, so selling to the carbon markets. One of the things that we have to promise them is super high quality, which means when we go in and clean up a site and we claim that we've reduced the methane emission by some amount, they need to know that that's, first of all, a correct number, and mostly that the well was plugged properly. And a lot of times people will cut corners, have been known to cut corners in this space. And we thought the best way to make sure that we can deliver wells that don't ever leak again is to own all of the services and have them all under our roof. So we have a highly focused retirement services division with rigs, crews, trucks, licenses, explosive licenses when necessary. But that's all exactly in service of reducing methane and cleaning up these sites. And in a way, we provide a service that might look a little bit similar to what an oilfield service company might provide for some of their business.
Gotcha.
But we're highly specialized in delivering that service. It's a little bit like comparing Federal Express to an airline. An airline might deliver a few packages, but they're mostly about passenger travel.
Gotcha.
FedEx is all about delivering packages. And so that means we can deliver, like FedEx, we're the FedEx in the example. We deliver, the environmental benefit associated with cleaning a well quickly, efficiently, and so it will never leak again.
Let's talk about the management team here as far as the company is concerned. A very notable past, going back to JP Morgan in 2007, they started the carbon trading desk.
Sure.
Talk about that.
So yeah, that was 07, 08 timeframe. And I was there. Tina Rain, who's at Zafiro, our head of our CCO, Chief Commercial Officer, but she's also our expert in carbon trading, was there. And Catherine Flax, who's on our board at Zafiro, was overseeing a lot of that. And what we did at JP Morgan is we acquired and bolted on a carbon trading capability for the first time it was really the first US bank of scale to do that. And one of the things I was tasked with at the time was, can we even trade these things? I mean, what are they? What is this carbon credit contract? Is it a thing, or is just a contract, right? And I developed a point of view from that to have institutional quality, a carbon credit needs to be highly repeatable. There need to be a lot of cleanup opportunities that could generate the same exact type of credit so that someone who buys it can know what they're getting. And it needs to be very clear that activity wouldn't have happened anyway. And that's what the carbon market calls additionality. And what we found with this methane reduction focus that we have at Zafiro kind of like lines up ticks all the boxes that no carbon credit that I've seen before can deliver on. And we can deliver, I mean, this carbon credit type can deliver literally hundreds of millions of tons on a very uniform basis, repeatably over a number of years. And right now we're in the leading position to be the first to monetize.
Yeah.
And we've got a wonderful operating team under us of over 125 people who are actually not just pushing paper around and moving market instruments around, but we're plugging hundreds of wells a year and doing the work on the ground. And so to me, it's a really exciting opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said to start things off, it's a fascinating space. Brand new listing, guys, if you missed the beginning, ZEFI on the CBOE Canada market as of today. What do you leave investors with here? If you wanted to give them a message going forward, maybe for the remainder of the year or the next little while here.
Look, I mean, how long you got? No, we could. Look, what I want to leave investors with is that look, we've come to market unusually so with already having very material revenues. We're already profitable, and we're tapping the market so that we can scale into what we think is a huge opportunity to build a self-reinforcing machine to get this all done. So every time we monetize carbon credits, we plow it right back into the business and do more methane reductions. And we've got so much headroom in going to tackle this problem that we've got a long way to grow. And so that's what I want investors to understand, is that we're really just getting started, and we're facing two multi-billion-dollar opportunities where we have a chance to lead in terms of market share and profitability. So we hope that you'll come along on the ride with us.
There you go. Early days and an exciting market to be in. Talal Dubs is founder and CEO of Zafiro Energy. ZEFI again, CBOE Canada, or Zafiro Methane, I should say. Go check it out, guys. Talal Dubs. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Important guest, honestly.
That was cool.
I have the chat, first of all. Sorry, I think I was on mute there. I don't think we've had a more important guest. The chat right now is loving it. I think that's an awesome opportunity. That, like, honestly,
that was a staggering number.
Yeah, like, that was ridiculous. $380 billion to clean all that up when these jokers should be cleaning this up in the first place. So yeah, I say thumbs up to all of that, man. I'm done with this exploitation. All of this.
Orphan mines, like I've never
just
heard
ridiculous
it before,
that this actually
5x
exists.
the number of working wells were orphaned. It doesn't even add up. But you know what? And on top of that, if you're just speaking like the investor language, already profitable and addressable market, which we love to hear. You want to know what the addressable market is. If you don't understand it, just tell me where you're going and how big that is, which was demonstrated. So super cool. Wish them best of luck. It's always good when you have something which is doing good and making money.
Well, yeah, it's that
we say this all the time, like
some sort of a social responsibility in all of this. So shout out to Talal and everything. Thanks for coming through.
Great job.
Definitely go check those guys out. Hey, it's always exciting. IPO day, they're coming through. Yeah. We really appreciate that. So best of luck over there, Zafiro. So go check those guys out. All right. Meanwhile, the market is getting to the downside. So we'll start to hit the siren. Oops, subscribe. We'll hit the siren up a little bit, and we'll go red zone right now. Not the NFL red zone, which I really like, NFL red zone. But right now, there it goes. Bye-bye, NASDAQ. We'll see you around. Apparently, Tesla,
so there's some
6,800. Is it more jobs?
So all that I'm seeing on Tesla is they're making announcements as to the specifics of where the layoffs are. So you're getting, it's like 2,200 people at the Freeport. And then there's, what else we got here? I don't know, they're giving it 600 at another, and then 64. So we already knew that they were making the job cuts, and all that's happening. I had it up, and now I can't scroll. There we go. Yeah, the Fremont Pratt 2267 have gotten official notice, but these are not new as far as I'm realizing, and it's not moving Tesla. Tesla's not going anywhere off of these headlines that are being dropped here, but they're giving some specifics as to where some of those job cuts and layoffs are going on Tesla. But the market is starting to give it, or continuing to give it back up off the high.
but
I'm going to get to, I want to show the NASDAQ for a second.
yeah, it's still
Because,
so high.
No, but that said, like this is on a 15-minute chart. Like how many pullbacks have we had since the open? They've been few and far between, and this is the first one in. I mean, this one barely even moved, and that's pretty much right at when we came back on air at 2 o'clock, and then this is the first one significantly. So if it gets back to 17.6, I think that's a profit-taking spot. I just took some on Intel. I never got the reload. We're still in the Micron short. Might have to work with a lower high here. I somehow think we're getting 113s. That's not going to happen. I think you got a short back maybe in the 112.5 level. So we'll see what happens. The market is slightly pulling back. If you're looking for some if you're looking for some stronger stocks, this just happened on CGC, just took out the high. So, oddly enough, it wasn't really doing much. It just broke the high a couple seconds ago, got the alert as it broke the $9 level. So I want to see if this can hold above $9. I like the dip buy into 9, giving it to 8.90. As the cannabis names, they've been strong. So as the market's pulling back, these are taking out highs. Sometimes in the afternoon, if things are falling back in, you look for the small caps or the non-market following names that have the opportunity to go. So CGC, we mentioned ACB and Tilray both moving as well. Just like this $9 area a little bit better, but both of these are absolutely flying. I mean, in the long term, it doesn't look great. Okay, this looks good because of the reverse split, but if you zoom out far enough, it was been pretty nasty, and then you get a reverse split for ACB. The daily chart's probably a little bit more representative with CGC because we don't split adjust on our chart. CGC, same thing, split, and then now it's getting the split ramp. When you get that lower float, sometimes the breakouts are a little better, and that's the difference between CGC and ACB. So that's what's up with those. I do like it back into 9 even. IBM, by the way, and we mentioned IBM with this HCP. IBM came all the way back up to 183.80 and is pulling back in. So it's still, I haven't seen an official number or deal terms, but the speculation is that they will be buying them. It's like a $6 billion-ish company after HCP spiked. It was like 5-point-something billion before the news came out. But you're seeing a bit of a pullback. And sometimes this can be a good retrace. I don't know why I wasn't thinking short. Usually when this happens on a news-based move, if I'm not short in here, I'm looking for the breakdown price, which was 83.80, and then when it wicks there, I'd be looking to short off that. That would have worked. I guess it's because I think of IBM as a value name, and I'm thinking long in my head, but that normal setup worked absolutely fine for IBM. That's what's up. Dan McIsaac, you're in ACB. Good luck there. I think you're in the right spot looking for longs. But you guys let us know what you're trading. I got this. I mean, I'm still in Roblox. I know I've really only addressed the 3 shorts, and I haven't really talked about Roblox. I've been waiting for this to break out of this range and give me the highs on Roblox. It's turned from a 5% up stock and an upgrade to a 20-cent range, bottom to top for the last couple hours on Roblox. But like I said, it's holding VWAP for now. I don't see a reason to get out of it till it makes the next move. Cali Fortune, IBM ain't what it used to be. IBM, but is that fair? A lot of stocks haven't been what they used to be, but that doesn't mean they're not good. I would argue Oracle wasn't what it used to be for a long time, and then that was a fantastic, when they got the cloud growth, that was a great buy then. If you sleep on quality companies, you miss some opportunities out there. And I don't know the synergies for this deal. I really don't know HCP. I have no idea, good, bad, indifferent, because this is the first I've heard of HCP. I don't really know the company at all. So I can't tell you whether this is a good acquisition for them. It was like, it's easy when, Microsoft and Activision, I'm like, ooh, that's going to be good for them. But I have no idea for this HCP. I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, neither do I. I was just going to say, whenever I hear a comment like IBM isn't what they used to be, or was it different, I think that's good. Like, we don't want companies. We want companies to continuously adapt and continue to grow, right? I mean, I think that when you're going to look back and say, like, wow, I can't believe, and I remember sitting right here not on this desk because it was 20 years ago, but Zuckerberg bought Instagram for $1 billion. And I remember talking heads and everybody being like, what is this joker doing? Like, $1 billion. Instagram's now worth like What's Facebook's, what's Meta's? I mean, half of Meta probably, if not more than that. So he buys it for $1 billion. It's probably worth $1.3 trillion or something right now. Instagram, right? Like you guys are.
You think it's half or it's like a third?
It's more than half. More than half. It's not even close in my opinion.
Well, I guess if you look at the future of growth.
WhatsApp, they make no money. WhatsApp is losing money, right? Facebook, I mean, nobody has Facebook accounts.
No, the ad revenue of Facebook, it's been well, speaking of which, I mean, we get that this week. Right, those ad numbers. Remember what happens, Meta comes first, and then you get this big reaction in Snapchat, Pinterest, Google, and everybody else. And if Meta blows it out of the water, they set this bar that is really difficult for like, especially Pinterest. Like if they set a high bar, I almost look for like some fading opportunities on Pinterest earnings.
But I think you want them to fade. I think you want a high bar because that will send Pinterest to the moon, no?
Yeah, and then it gives you a short opportunity on
well,
Pinterest earnings.
Pinterest might be performing well.
No, I'm not harping on Pinterest.
Yeah.
My wife still loves
that
Pinterest.
could be a trade.
I'm just saying it could be a trade.
Yep.
But you know, here's the perfect example. You don't want companies to be what they used to be. BlackBerry. Like that was, BlackBerry had an opportunity to pivot to what everybody, they had what everybody wanted. And
Right.
when there was a subtle shift in what people wanted out of a smartphone, BlackBerry stayed right in their comfort zone, which is easier to do, and obviously it's more comfortable to do, and it was a colossal error on their part. And it's a sad story because as a Canadian, you know, like that could have been like what they could have been had they made a subtle shift to sort of address what the smartphone market was telling them. And you know, you never want everything to be the same. Intel's trying to make the change now. Better late than never, right? Like I love the fact that they're trying to get a piece of the pie from Samsung and mostly TSM. And they're behind the 8 ball with it, but at least they're making a change. If they didn't make a change, they would just slowly die. Speaking of things that are behind the 8 ball, market's starting to come back into the downside. That's what we're talking about. You got the super chat there from JC.
What's up, JC?
Not JC Parrott, who's a friend of the show, but JC, which I like because it kind of sounds like Jay-Z.
Look at the TQQs. I will address said comment in 1 minute because I haven't looked yet, but there we go. Let's go. Let's start bringing the pain here. Hit the siren one more time. We still want a lot lower. But we'll take out some more. I mean, there it is. Boom. Let's go, man. Down into the 200 period. Look, this is like, so even though today is the 23rd, go back and look at the 22nd. The 21st would be not that day because that would be Saturday or Sunday. Go back and look all last week. Pretty much I'm net short into the close every single day. So today's another day that ends in Y. So we are going to be short again here into the close. I do have a bid at 23. That's exactly where the 200 period is. So again, and if you're just wondering, like, you know, this guy is just talking like this, but there's no way, you know, that he's putting these trades out before he actually takes them. Well, we are. Here's the TQs. I put this out, well, this says an hour ago on here. I don't know, might even say the exact time. 1:04, 2 hours ago. Just sitting here thinking of some podcast ideas. We're going to be dropping some more podcasts. We're going to be dropping a lot of podcasts soon, hopefully. Shorting the stock market. 1 o'clock with a little cute bear emoji there. All right, well, necessarily hasn't been right since 1 o'clock, but that was the idea and that was the attitude that we had here into the close. So we'll stay on there. If it does, again, look at that, drops right in basically to the 200 again. We don't, what we're kind of doing now is, first of all, no, I'll talk to you later, my guy. But what we're trying to do right now is just try to stack up a little bit. And what I mean by that is just trying to like top it out, even though it's 3 o'clock, there's still lots more movements to come. We do have Tesla earnings, of course, that we've talked about that over and over again. And the one that I think means a lot more than Tesla, I think Visa is pretty important. And it's because we had a huge move with AXP. American Express has been firing on all cylinders. We determined that's because Sharice's black card and because he took over the payments for the Netflix account there.
That's key.
Yeah, his mom was like, you're finally going to have to pay for it. So Sharice's doing that on the black card. And then the other thing about that is that Visa, so let's see the health of the consumer. All right, we already know it's strong. Let's see if Visa warns about delinquencies or anything like that. I'm interested to see what Visa has to say because if something hits there and we start to trickle down into 255, 260 area, that could be something as well. So let's wait to see if Visa can come back in. I'm excited for that one.
Well, speaking of 260.
Yeah, and then there's Texas Instruments. I was just going to go over one last big name. We will have the earnings board over, but Texas Instruments is the other one. So Texas, which is very important. Isn't TXN one of them, Adara? Pardon? Texas Instruments? Yeah, you looked at me like I was more crazy than I am. So, okay, yeah. Texas Instruments. So now Adara's joining me, by the way. You guys all wanted to know what the new vibe was going to be. And there it goes. This is not diamond hands, but I'm pretty happy with this right now. As here comes the TQs back in. Look at that fill we just got. Are you kidding me? We talked about putting a bid there, right? I even told you the price. I mean, we said we're sitting at 23s. All right, so, yeah, Texas Instruments is the other one.
No, the only thing I was going to say, you said 260, and can't mention that number without talking about PanW at 260. Because as you might notice today, if you're looking at PanW, it did dip right back into the same the post earnings 260 level. It held a higher low. You actually are back at the 50-period moving average, which has been resistance. But the last time it gave you 20%. This time it's going to give you 10% off of this level. I love what's going on here. The fact that it's breaking out, I mean, you cannot get cybersecurity out of the news. Just ask UNH about that. Right? Like, this is not going away. I know the valuations aren't always great, but when you look at a level like that, it's the market telling you where the institutional buyers are coming in, and it just happened again on I almost said Palantir, on PanW, and we like it. I didn't add to it, but I'm looking back, and it's like my intention was to dollar cost average and wait. I wanted to buy it every quarter, so to me, the buy off of the last earnings, I was going to wait another quarter, and I feel like now I might have missed that opportunity, because I'm going to probably wait until their next report. Rivian's starting to pull back in there. I only have one long, which is Roblox. If we get to VWAP on Rivian, then I'll stop bidding until we get to 9 even. But Roblox, with the market pulling back in, it probably retests this bottom, which is like 36.70s. So if it gets another 10 cents down, I'll buy it off of support here in Roblox. T-Daddy, I know UNH. I mean, there was, like, it's a ridiculous number of Americans. If it was like 150 million. Yeah, it was like 150 million users or accounts, or however they like to frame it, affected by that, because UNH is a juggernaut. So that's the implication, right? And you know, whether you like PanW, whether you like CrowdStrike, whether you like Zscaler, anybody and everybody is going to be affected by this. I mean, I was just telling you guys about my wife doing a course that was sponsored by MasterCard, because she's in data with an insurance company. And she's having to brush up on cybersecurity to further her career, because everybody is wanting to protect that data. It's important for an insurance company because they have everybody's data. It's important for healthcare. So that money's out there. The addressable market is huge. I love that term. So market, get to the downside. Wait a minute. I'm on the wrong one. I was going to say let's do a little bit of this this afternoon. I'm not incredibly bullish. Someone asked in the chat opinions on ARM. When the market was going higher, I thought 98, the same double top. I just wanted this high up here. It's now underneath VWAP. I still think ARM is trying to calm down after what was that gigantic flush off of 120. So it's in a little bit of a recovery mode. If it cannot take the 100 level, I want to be short in front of 100. And I would not be surprised if this got back to the 80 level before these guys report themselves.
Yeah, okay. I like that talk about PanW there. I mean, UNH has taken Palo Alto and chosen them, so UNH is a good one there for sure. I mean, we've seen hacks in Target. We've seen hacks all over the place. And talk about hacks. There's a lot of hacks in this business, actually. All right, here we go. I'm just trying to make sure that we all good, baby, with some of these orders as we get ready to go here into the close for you today. So here it is. Thank you, JC. I didn't get a chance to do this because I went on, talked about the Qs, and it's coming back in, which it still is, baby. And we are already positioned for this short. So let's go. All right, so there it is right now. It's a nice one. Yeah, point is to adapt. So you've already talked about that, so thank you for that talk. And you know that I couldn't agree more. And that's what we've done the best here for me, was really just adapt, to be honest with you. Adapt with what we had there. Okay, I was just looking at something. All right, DJT, thank you. I'm just hearing in my ear, I got to. I'll
Oh,
adjust
it's just that
those.
it's moving.
Yeah, DJT is starting to move lower
Oh,
right
I thought
now.
there was news. It just made a fresh low, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, when this was $60 or $70, I said I'll see you at 10. So now it's at 31. I'll still see you at 10. I don't, you know, I don't know what to think about this stock. It was DWAC. It had the $10 base there. We've not IPO'd. We switched over symbols, became DJT, was at 60, 70 on all that hype, and that's great. Then it fell down into 25 where it was trying to go home. And then we just got a little bump up, and it's going to go back home as well. So this name doesn't have anything going for it, in my opinion. And again, you know, I've made some bad investments. Maybe this is going to be a good one, but I don't want to put any money here into DJT, not at these levels.
There's a difference when you don't make money, and the company doesn't make money.
Frank Jones.
There's hype on the way up, which is, generally speaking, not the end of the world. Momentum is momentum, but buying on the way down when you don't make money. Like, look at Virgin Galactic.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was great on the way up. Lemonade, I was in Lemonade on the way up.
That's a tasty treat.
I was in Silvergate on the way up. I was in Virgin Galactic on the way up. I mean, basically everything worked in 2020. And one of those I held 10% of that to the end, and that was Virgin Galactic. But all of those made money for me. And the difference is, and all of them I got out way too early. I'll be dead honest about that. I think like Lemonade went another 50% after I got out. And but it's not the end of the world because you know the company's not there. But when the momentum's there, it's fine. But yeah, I don't know how to value them at this particular point. But remember, there is always a squeeze aspect of it. Like the other day, I did take a long trade on DJT because it was a pretty clear breakout setup. And it had some momentum. Like it was just one of these. Like it made a wipeout bottom. It was actually this trade in here. It was this break of 28. Just a momentum long. But like you take those types of trades when they set up, it's feeling like a bit of a flat bottom break here. But we don't have free locates. I was just going to check to see what the cost was. It's a little bit late in the day because you probably only get one shot at it, and you can't get it off resistance. You have to take a break down at the. I hate shorting the low of the day after 3 o'clock, and you're having to pay for locates. They need to be free to put it on. But I think tomorrow, if we're around this 30 level, if it's it's a few cents a share, then you pay for them and you're good to go. And the good thing about real trading, I understand. Yes, you've heard it probably a million times. DJT is like the most expensive stock to get locates on. That's for people that are shorting this thing and holding it for days and weeks. That's very different from day trading, where our costs, I just checked, it's 6 cents per share. And then once you have that, you can then, whatever amount you pay for, you can go short that amount 20 times. Just obviously you can use it once, and then you get in, get out, you can do it again. It's not per trade, like you get those throughout the day, which is an advantage here with real trading.
That's so funny. Someone just said they trade at 4,000 times. Sales or earnings? Revenues.
Is that true?
Yeah.
4,000?
They don't have.
And I thought ARM was crazy.
They had remember? They had 5 million in revenues.
Yeah, I knew it was extreme. I didn't actually know I didn't know the actual number. I didn't.
Yeah, maybe you weren't. Yeah, maybe you weren't here.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't here when it came.
Yeah, I didn't remember it was 4,000 times, but it was 5 million $5 million in revenue here. Let's just double check that just so everybody knows. DJT. Here it is right here. Well, yeah, so they have earnings per share minus 5 cents, but right there, it's just about the market cap when you're using. Yeah, so that would make sense. 5 billion. Yeah, it's more like, sorry, 5 million in revenues with a market cap of 4 billion. So I'm not smart enough for that math, but that you sound about right. I think is it 10,000 times or 5 million, 5 billion? Okay, there we go. So right now, Palantir, we just took another piece out. Look, this has been a banger for me. This is my #1 stock today. Is it? Yeah, P&L wise. And again, it really has nothing to do with the sticky note at all. It has to do with just being able to look at names that you know you like. And we've talked about Palantir numerous times on the show. And earlier today in the morning, it came up as a sell imbalance, or a buy imbalance, sorry. And I said just to everybody, and I want to thank, I think it was Hamster, I said this earlier, I want to thank someone in the chat because you were like, hey, Palantir's coming up to 22. Normally, I would sit there with an offer. I didn't. I flipped it over, and I just said, shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers, they still in it? Trust the process. So I'm kind of like Joel Embiid, so we'll trust the process. I'm always hurt. I'll take Jokic.
Can we?
I'll take Jokic.
I'm just simply saying, I have nothing
mean-
against Joel Embiid, but we keep saying trust the process when Philly's down 2-0.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying, like,
I
number
know-
one pick and all that
No,
kind
I
of
know
stuff.
what you mean. And again,
Yeah.
it's the sentiment is exactly right. But I mean, Denver's got a Canadian on their team.
Oh, I hate Philly.
Why can't we? Yeah, big ups
I mean,
to
Toronto does not like Philadelphia in any way.
100%.
I mean, Kawhi hit that shot. I was there when I was at one of the games that Embiid ended us in the playoffs. I ain't down with that team, but they're a great. I mean,
They took us out when we had Vince on the team as
they're
well.
a great
It's
franchise.
a rivalry. No,
right?
it's
the Phillies, the Flyers.
Well, I like the Phillies. I will always like the Phillies because the Jays and the Phillies share like the same spring training, basically location. They're
Right.
like 5-10 minutes away. And on top of that, when we beat them in the World Series, that was a team of like
Yeah, Lenny Dykstra.
those dudes were gamers, man. Like every single dude on that team was a grinder. Like the whole team was like Kroc and Dalton and Lenny Dykstra, Jim Eisenreich. They were all grinders. They didn't have anybody. Mitch Williams. I don't think they had a single dude that was like, yo, here's a normal number one like draft pick, like Griffey type.
Yeah.
It wasn't that kind of a team.
Shout
It
out
was
to
just a
sports
team of grinders.
podcasts. Trying to say we'll go on
That's
those
what's up.
podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
But by
all
the way,
right.
shout out to OG Anunoby. Like what he's done for the Knicks, I think has been fantastic.
Has he been playing well? I mean, I know they're in first place.
Dude,
when they
he
got
is
him, or
locking
second place.
dudes up on defense.
Yeah,
he is
he's
a
good.
great defensive player, and I actually I almost want the Knicks to do it this year, just for the old the ex-Raptor.
Yeah,
to
no
get the
chance,
crown.
but
But
I
no,
do
no,
too.
Boston's too good.
Yeah.
Boston's too good. It's going to be, let's call it Denver over Boston in 6.
I also like
That feels right.
when Ty Domi pulled that Philadelphia fan into the penalty box. That was the best.
You know what I used to remember? Back at the old office location.
Down with the Eagles.
Ty Domi every once in a while would be like strutting around that area. I think he must have lived up in Rosedale or something.
Must have been.
Because I feel there was a couple of times I've walked away from the office and be like, ooh, that's his, there's his convertible there. But the market is headed to the downside. You can tell we love some sports.
If you come around where we're located, you may see Trader TV Sean out in the wild.
In the wild. We use that term a lot, but it is out in the wild. The market's out in the wild. There was a question in the chat, which I answered, but I know you'd already talked about it. And it was like, why is Sean short the TQs?
I am?
So, well, I mean, obviously, I jokingly said because the market's at the highs, but there's a good chance you meant why not go long the SQs? Because it's most traders, and I'm not to speak for you, we've said this before, for most traders, it's just easier to be short when you're looking to make bets only to the downside. If you have an account that doesn't allow you to go short, obviously going long in the reverse ETF is perfectly reasonable as well. Like real trading, we can just go short pretty much anything except for really small cap stuff that we might have to pay locates for. So just shorting something to bet that it's going down is a much easier way to go about it there.
Yeah,
Jokic.
Yeah, I know. Shout out.
I love that stat, the whole 25, 10, and 10 thing. I was just surprised Wilt hadn't done it more because he's Wilt, and it was such a different league.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love Wilt, but come on.
No, but back
the net
then,
was
dudes
like
were
9 feet. He's facing.
Dudes were grabbing
honestly-
30 rebounds in a single game.
Yeah, he's facing 6'4" white guys are the tallest guys. Wilt Chamberlain is like.
You've seen the old clips.
Yes, that's why I'm referencing these clips. Jokic is dealing with the most athletic people in the world every day, and he's just worried about training horses. Shout out to everybody that's a Rangers fan, man. I went to that Rangers-Leaf game where it was Rempe Reeves, and it was amazing. Honestly, the fact that my kids are like so into hockey has been amazing. It's such a great sport to watch and to have your kids in and everything. Hockey has been really amazing. So shout out to everybody who does that. The NHL playoffs are on right now, and I'd watch that a million times over basketball. It's not even close. Okay, so right now let's go over something else here.
NHL playoffs over. I agree.
It's not.
A quick thing there. Kyle McGill, pay for locates.
The NBA is a joke.
Pay for locates simply means, there's a question, what do pay for locates mean? We say it a lot. If you want to go short, you have to borrow the shares first. Oftentimes, the lingo is you're paying for shares to be located so that you can borrow them, because there has to be physical shares that you borrow, and then once you can prove that, you've made a legal short. When people talk about like naked short selling, it's because they don't locate the shares to borrow before entering into the short position. And so obviously, like, we don't do that here. If there's limited availability, then the broker charges you
Where's the at?
to get those borrows. And then we just, sometimes you call it paying for short, pay for locates. It's essentially the same thing.
It's long ass read?
There. So Rivian back at VWAP. I said if it got to VWAP again, I'd take more out. I just got that fill. If it breaks VWAP, I want to hold into $9. That's what's going to be next. Micron, I don't think we're going to get, I don't know if we get 113s again, but it cannot seem to break 112. I want to get a chance for it to break that. Intel, we're just sort of hanging on for dear life as that wants the low of the day on Intel. The smartest move I made all day on Intel was in and out flat here. I got in too early, I got out flat, paid fees, and then waited for it to run the top. And then when it was running the high of the day, that's when I was getting it. Oftentimes you get FOMO when you're like, oh, this stock is weak, but I got in and out of this one flat, paid the fees to get in and out at the same price, and then waited for it to get into the highs. Why was it those highs? Because this is, market's breaking higher. This cannot seem to get through 34. I said 60, but really it's like 57, just close enough. Oftentimes, I know that's imprecise, but technically the high there is, it's like 56 and 57. But I'll usually say the round number, or my stop is at the round number, just to keep it simple for you guys. But yeah, the market is coming back in. Roblox is the only long that I have. And even now, like it's starting, now it's giving the bounce off 36.70. So I said I would take the shot. It just came back into support. I'm gonna hop on the bid. But if it can't hold this local bottom, which is right under here, the 65, I'm just jumping out of Roblox. It's been a decent long, but the market's starting to roll over.
All right, let's take care of some business. Have you ever wanted to trade on events that directly relate to companies in the economy? Well, then Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the US where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned? That's a good question, Neil. How many cars will Tesla ship this quarter? Another good question. Or what a new movie's Rotten Tomatoes score will be? Perhaps not a great question. Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade on what you really know. Visit kalshi.com/tradertv to sign up today and grab $20 bonus after depositing just $50 for the first 500 people using promo code TraderTV. The best part is it's easy to get started. Choose an event like whether Boeing will have a new CEO. 76% chance. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and Boeing will announce a new CEO by year end, and you will cash out a smooth 100 on that $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 plus users and dive into diverse markets. Make your moves and potentially profit from global events. That's kalshi.com/tradertv.
Did you see the top one there?
What was that?
You can bet Kanye releases a new album on Spotify.
Oh, right here.
May 5th. That's the top one.
I cannot wait for Vultures 2, but
The
thing is that I think he delayed the last, so he's already released all the days.
Right.
But I think the last one came out a couple days after, so that's interesting.
I figured you probably know more than I would on that one, but yeah. I mean,
Best LLM at the end of the year? How do you figure out what the best one is? That's interesting.
But
Or maybe
how do
the
they
most
define that?
users?
It's got to be the most users.
I'm actually going to open up an account.
I mean, if you
and do
click
this.
on it, probably gives you a blurb on it if you click on it.
Congress?
Deadpool, go back. Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Whoa.
Rotten Tomatoes score.
Where do you see that?
Above
Right here.
90? Oh, come on, son. Of course it's going to be over 90. Are you kidding me?
Neil, log in immediately.
Wow.
Neil, bet this immediately.
Are you? Come on, son. The new Deadpool
Look at this.
movie is
There's
going to be
charts.
over
You can see-
90%. What are we even talking about here?
I'm
What are
saying
we even-
under. They're stingy. I'm with Adara. I have no idea about this, but I'm just with whatever Adara says. I think
If it's not, then that is manipulated and that is BS. I'm telling you that right now. How long have they waited to make this movie, to get it right, to get Hugh Jackman
is it a
on there?
Disney movie?
Oh, but okay. So here's the thing.
I'm
What
just
if-
asking. I'm
okay,
not.
So what
I'm
have they?
not trying-
What if the only
I'm
things
trying to
that
cancel,
the
remember?
things that they've gotten right is Deadpool.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
nailed Deadpool. They know
And that's
what's
Ryan
up there.
Reynolds. Or
That's
no-
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. So then yes,
He's
Canadian involved.
hilarious. I'm just saying.
I wonder if you hire a Canadian actor, do you just pay them in Canadian dollars? Because
Yeah, you can take it. Okay, he's getting paid.
yeah, that's not. I'm just
Let's be
joking
real
about
for a
that
second. The USD is kicking some butt, right? Anyways, too.
one. USD rocks.
Yeah. Well, it's. No, on a serious note, like the ECB's, like they're gonna still
Sign
cut.
up for Kalshi.
That's going the same way. I mean, but like I got like all crazy about that. I understand that Rotten Tomatoes, the critics tend to be harsh when it comes to comedies,
Yeah.
and they don't know funny. So maybe I'm overstating that a bit. But I just think they're.
Well, you're with the trend. I mean, it was 37 cents, so
Yeah.
that's. I mean, there's more people.
No, I love Deadpool. I was gut laughing in the theater for both of those.
I
which
think
doesn't-
I've actually.
That and Tropic Thunder. It's the only time I was gut laughing in the theater.
You know what? I'm just joking
Oh,
about that
of course.
Canadian thing. I know they're paid in U.S. dollars. I was just joking about that.
No, I knew. Blake Lively, his wife.
That's right.
What's crazy? So Ram just asked.
Hey, I knew that. I was just letting Neil say it.
Well, how many times, if it's pop culture, am I actually gonna? Most times I'm not gonna know. But Ryan Reynolds, whatever. Oh, Canada.
I really like Ryan
I probably
Gosling.
can't tell you that much about Blake Lively, but I can tell you that she's in a few things I've probably watched.
I'm down with Gosling.
Yeah, Gossip Girl.
I
don't know.
Gosling's wife she's Spanish. She is Eva Mendes. Bang!
I see.
Ain't no one in my ear.
I didn't know that.
Ain't no one in my
Stuff like
ear.
that, eh? I didn't know that.
Come on, man. Any more?
I didn't know that.
Any more? You want to know Taylor Swift's last 5 boyfriends?
Hold on
I
a
try to tune that out.
Who's
because,
Emily
like,
Blunt? Because we're talking about Emily Blunt. Who's she married to?
Yeah, the guy from The Office.
Jim Halpert.
Jim Halpert, yeah.
What's his actual name? Well, what do you want? His
Jim Halpert is his name. It's Michael Scott. It's not Steve Carell.
Whatever. Mike. What's his name again?
All right.
Mike Krzyzewski?
Yeah, Mike Krzyzewski. Yeah, he's a Duke coach as well on half.
No, but in all seriousness,
On all seriousness, I think we lost that a while ago. Okay, let's just keep on going here.
John Krzyzewski.
No, yes.
Now
John
only-
Krasinski.
Oh, for the love.
Come on, Neil, smarten up. Focus here.
Krasinski.
You've lost your way. Okay, so TQs, we're still on that. Let's find some more trades right now. Yeah, Krasinski, yeah. He was in on another thing on Amazon.
John Ryan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. All right.
Oh, that's actually, if you haven't seen it, it's really good. It's got
Yeah,
Bunk.
no, I know that one. There's-
Bunk from The
there's
Wire,
numerous
which you need to
seasons.
watch.
I think that was a big one there.
Go straight up if you've never seen The Wire.
Be quiet. Oh. I thought Armina was telling me to go to my quiet place there, and she was like,
Quiet Place was good.
yeah, okay. Texas Instruments, I don't know enough about that, but I'll definitely be, there's a lot of things I want to watch. I do want to rewatch Tropic Thunder because I'm with you on that one. That one's a jam for sure.
I think that's the funniest movie in the last 2 decades.
Yeah, I know you're all about that.
I'm being dead serious, and I'll tell you.
That's
like,
why I want to rewatch it. At the end, when you realize everything, I think it is really funny.
I'll tell you this right now, and whether this is controversial or not, I don't care.
It's
Robert Downey Jr. gave the funniest damn performance I've seen in forever.
That's why I want to rewatch it.
Like my pops, when my pops saw the first Chappelle Show thing when he did the Clayton Bigsby, like my pops was like, "That's offensive." He wasn't into that. When he saw Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, he was dying, and he didn't like Chappelle Show, but he thought that was the funniest ish ever. And I'm 100% right. At the end of the day, funny is funny, and that's the whole point. You got to try to push some boundaries every now and then.
You got to be, you got.
Yeah, like let's be real, man. Like most of the best comedy is not safe. It's getting out there. Like how many true great comedians never push boundaries? Steve Martin and who else? Maybe Robin Williams. Everybody else has got to be out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not testing me. Just a couple of things of note. VWAP is turning into a thing. When the market goes a little bit, like pulls back, you're going to see things pull back into VWAP. I've got Roblox here at support level, but it's struggling at VWAP. So I'm going to get out if it gives me even 90s. And then Rivian is bouncing off VWAP here. So we said we'd get some out in front of VWAP. I took more out in front of VWAP as that pulls back in. Intel and Micron. Like, look what's happening here. Micron's just holding the line. Like, we're not moving. We're not breaking down into VWAP. We're not busting back up. I think I trail this to 55 there, just to be safe. Yeah, I love this in the chat. Richard Pryor. I mean, for those who don't know, like stand-up comedy, like that's like the original. I'm gonna test some limits. I grew up on that because my pops was all into Richard Pryor. Although oddly enough, the best stand-up that I ever saw live, and this is gonna be weird to say because obviously his life has not worked out how you would have expected. I saw Bill Cosby live. It was funny as hell. Obviously, things didn't work out for him. For obvious reasons. But he was still funny in his stand-up.
Yeah, I saw Damian Wayans in Vegas. That was a lot of fun when I was too young to see it, probably. Okay, so TQQs, Roblox, Amazon. Let's check in on Amazon, because Amazon was a name that we talked about it right here. We actually wrote it down, 176 long. We have that long today, but we dropped it, so we're not in it anymore. But we also have the 180 break. Now, despite the market being where it is, I mean, I really like this 180 break. So if the market comes back with a vengeance, which I'm still short the market, we're still short Palantir, but the Palantir position has less than 10% left. We sort of cleaned that out once we got into here. So many outs down into here that there isn't much left for that. So Palantir is kind of like a wait. I'm not super excited to do anything with that. Oops, not super excited to do anything with that one. But this one I actually like, because we had indicated Amazon that we liked this level. We liked 180. We also liked 176. I mean, if you're looking for trade ideas in the afternoon, we're here. But if you're also looking for trade ideas in the morning, the sticky note today has Apple short at 166, which was great. But we talked about that. That flipped the script on that one, so not a good trade after all. And then Amazon long 176. You know which name? I said let's watch out for Tesla, but that's obvious because they report. We didn't want to trade that today. The other name that we didn't look at, I put down Boeing 168 and change. So we're actually... Come on, as if. The 168.50s worked a couple times, but not to great avail. Up here to 169 again. They're going to come reporting tomorrow morning. I just thought that this was worth it, because if you're going to look at the daily, you do have a bottom here of 167.50. So I was sort of thinking, come on, futures. And not future, like Metro Boomin and all that stuff. Okay, here we go. We want the real futures to come down in here. Here come the TQs, but I kind of like that Boeing level. So something to consider for me, Boeing down there at 168 if we get there, or the Amazon break on a run here in the futures. But I'm going to get something out again here on the futures. We'll punch a little bit. Yeah, I guess we got a half print there. Oops, sorry, that's not the futures. This is the futures. So we'll take some out right there at the 200 period again, as we're kind of having a hard time bouncing off, or I guess going lower right now. I'm still for the short, though. I still like this short. So we'll wait for the future to see if that can happen. But so far, so good here with trading.
Yeah, absolutely. Guess what's at a quadruple top right now? We haven't talked much about NVIDIA, but I will say this is the first time. Remember that setup I was talking about at NVIDIA? This is the first time in a couple of weeks that it didn't work. I've lost twice on this particular setup. False break of the low, goes into the previous high, and then it breaks out the previous high. It did everything like normal, but then didn't work. Like, it immediately failed to break. Usually this breakout setup is going that $5, $10. Like yesterday we got $8 on it. It was the same setup yesterday. Tried to break the bottom, took out that top, was a nice $8 quick in and out. Same setup, didn't work. When it happened the second time is when it did. So you are on a bit of a rally here for NVIDIA, up 4%. It does turn at 825, and the 50 period is going to sit here at 850. I think we watch out for 850 tomorrow. That seems obvious as a level. But what, DJT's going up now? So what's weird is Benzinga's actually telling me price movement, not even on news, but DJT makes a fresh low. I'm so glad I didn't pay for those locates. Because this, it's tricky when a name is down 11 or 12%, and there's really not specific news on it that's a big catalyst, and you're trying to go short as it's breaking the low. It's SSR, and then it makes this move. It's just a lot easier to buy dips in a trend late in the afternoon or sell rips, as opposed to taking tops and bottoms. It's a very tricky way to go about trading. You don't want to overtrade in the afternoon, but you want to stay away from hitting those bottoms. The reason why it doesn't usually work is because if you're shorting down here, well, where's the resistance on the stock? It's at 32.5 and 33 even, somewhere in that range. Well, if you're short 31.25, like, where does it need to go to? Like, was it going to flush through $30 in 30 minutes? You're asking a heck of a lot. It's a little easier when things are squeezing higher and you've got a high-flying name that doesn't have a ceiling on it than when you're trying a breakdown like this. DJT, will have a look at that one tomorrow. I'll pay for locates tomorrow if it's going to break 30 for sure. I did, again, every single time a bid pops up here and it cannot break VWAP on Rivian, I just keep taking a little bit more out. I want to stick with that. Roblox, still doing absolutely nothing. So it's the shorts that are, I mean, basically just continuing to give out. So not really going too much further down. But Roblox cannot seem to break away. Like, it's in the money, like 5 cents, but come on, like the range has been 30 to 40. You'd like to be able to capture that, as it's now 330. So in 15 minutes, we're going to get the imbalances. We'll see what happens then. But I think you got to be patient with the trades. Like the shorts to put on, to me, were Rivian at that high, Micron and Intel. You have opportunities on. The futures gave you a bit of a pullback. Don't short NVIDIA, apparently, because that just continues to press higher. And ARM never gave me the chance. I wanted ARM at 98, didn't give me the opportunity. But you got to be patient. Like we said, you don't want to overtrade in that afternoon. I'd rather, like yesterday, I only put 2 trades in the afternoon. They both worked. I'd rather do that than put on 7 and then like 3 or 4 of them work, which I've done before. Everybody's done that before. I just find the afternoon force trade it's not the same as the morning. Like if you push the pedal to the metal in the morning, when you hit, you can hold it all day for a winner. As a day trader, you don't even have that luxury at the end of the day. It's just you have less opportunity for it to go, so you got to be more particular. Oh.
I just chugged like a huge thing of water. I just refilled my water.
You got
yeah, I got 2 now because I'm ready to go, man. We got that after show. We're ready to bring the heat tonight because look what's coming through, man. We've got Tesla. We've got everybody's favorite Barbie, Mattel, is coming through tonight as well. Those of you looking for that one, we've got Seagate Technologies coming through. Hey, you want to put some solar panels on your roof? Check out my friends at Enphase coming through tonight as well. I know nobody at Enphase, but right there. And then after that, Texas Instruments. I was going to make a joke about Chubb Security, but they're on there as well, so go grab that.
What's the joke?
No, so it was not. I forgot what it was.
Oh, never mind.
Or did I? And then tomorrow we've got tomorrow comes through huge in the morning as well.
Rest in peace, Chubbs, man.
Oh, with Chubbs. Oh yeah, okay. That would be more cleaner joke, right?
We're just disrespecting Apollo Creed every day, man.
No, that's
Carl Weathers. I'm like.
I mean, honestly, there's talk of doing that. Happy Gilmore 2, which I think is in the works. So that sucks. That I hope they have some old footage, like something in there would be cool.
With AI,
like a story. That's another thing.
Sorry,
Steve Martin. He's in that Happy Gilmore 2? No, I was thinking. I remember you guys talking about. Yeah, we love Steve Martin.
We love Steve.
Yeah, for sure. And Martin Short and all those guys.
Short.
Those guys, the Three Amigos with Chevy Chase. If you've never seen Three Amigos, I'm sure it doesn't. Does it? Okay, I was going to say I'm sure it doesn't hold up, but I watched that movie like 4
Want to bet? Oh, it holds up.
That I have to watch it because
it holds up.
That was hilarious. And my family, weren't they doing dun, 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 dun? And they did all that stuff? Yeah.
They do the thrust as well at the end.
That was, okay, fine.
That was legit.
What service is that on? Probably something that I don't have, right?
I guarantee you it's not free anywhere.
God damn it.
The reason, because I'm pretty sure I looked for it free and I have every streaming service.
That's what I'm saying.
And so I'm pretty sure I couldn't find it. I don't know, maybe, is it on, it wasn't even on Tubi, I don't think.
The Three Amigos. It's probably on Paramount or Hulu or something.
But Carl Weathers was a legend. If they do Happy Gilmore 2, as long as they do him right somehow, just get it right with Chubb, because you can't really do that without something about Chubbs. You can't just pretend. You know what I mean? Like there'll be some flashback scenes that you can probably pull off, which will be cool. What was that on GM? Never mind. I'm just hearing some stuff in my ear. GM, by the way, that was a heck of a nothing burger. For such a strong stock into earnings with a gap up that much, like what could you have done with this thing? And sometimes when an earnings play gives the traders nothing, and then you don't look at it, then you don't look at it tomorrow, and maybe you forget about it the day after that, and next thing you know, it's breaking out the highs and running. So you want to pay attention to this, I think, especially as long as Ford doesn't do something the other direction. Like, let's let Ford come out in a couple of days.
Yeah.
They're before the bell.
I thought they were before the bell tomorrow, but
today's Tuesday. So
it'll be them on
morning of Thursday, I think. It's Thursday morning, I want to say.
By the way, DJT is going higher right now, so whatever I said was, post-market the 20. Oh, so they're post-market. So GM was pre. I thought Ford was pre as well, but there it is, post-market on the 24th.
Okay.
It's
still before the 25th trade. So I'd like to see Ford also do well, then a GM breakout through 47. Right, so if we get some confirmation that things are going good with Legacy, then we get that next move. As we are now at 340, still,
Tesla's earnings per share expected at 49 cents. Their last report was only, I'm just reading some notes that we have here for the after show, was only was 71 cents.
Yeah,
so they missed on 71. Now it's down to 49. So expectations not necessarily high there. Revenues only expected to be 22.7 billion, while last quarter was 25
Margins
billion,
dropping again.
and it was a miss. So they missed on revenues. They've missed, actually last quarter they missed on EPS and on revenues. So not great. Meanwhile, we have the double beat with Visa coming through last time and hopefully this time.
But it is free on Prime.
That's what people are saying, yeah.
All right, well, I'm putting on my list.
Oh, the Three Amigos will be getting watched.
No, I'm putting on.
But it Prime can't. You looked on our Prime?
No, but that's the thing. We're in Canada.
It won't be free on ours.
Yeah, it's we
Almost
get punked.
They said that it was, well, it might be.
No, it's not.
See, it's
I
not.
need
It's the stars. I think I get that. I get a whole bunch.
free trial of Hollywood Suite, whatever.
No,
that
I
is.
don't have that. I think it's more likely, and I'm not going to go there in case it's not, but I think it's probably, someone said it's free on YouTube. So, I mean, obviously, if YouTube.
30-day free trial of Hollywood Sweep. I don't know what else is on there.
I mean,
guys-
for 30 days, I mean, you can grab the free trial.
I know,
and
that's
then
the
just
thing. But
cancel it.
what if I can get it somewhere else? That's all.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyways, I want to see that one for sure. Okay, did we get out of some more TQQs there? No, we did not. We got out of one, but we talked about that. Palantir's still doing nothing,
Yeah,
although that's a nice, okay, actually, that's a nice pull down. I just said, I don't have very many shares of Palantir, so it's not like affecting my net per se in the way that some of these other trades would. So I'm a little bit clued out with this, but down here at the 200 period, we should get some more out on Palantir. So we'll do that. We're gonna watch Tesla. We're gonna watch Tesla into the close here. Texas Instruments, Visa, Tesla, big ones. Chubb CB in there as well. Couple more names here that are coming through.
Enphase is still, I mean, you put it on a weekly chart, like that's wild. By the way, though, like all three shorts working, but Roblox, the reload's gonna come out and that'll be an L. And notice that it's gonna be on the long. Like Roblox is up 5%, but it's about to take out support there. So you'll see, there you go, it comes out. And my hands are off the keyboard. That's an automatic stop order. We like stop orders because, you know the other thing about a stop order? It's not just that it gives you the automatic execution. When you set a stop, instead of having to punch out manually, you don't get to decide not to take it. If you put a stop order out, it's automatically going to fire. And I find sometimes it's just better to do that. But all I was going to point out for Enphase is this has not gotten out of the doldrums just yet. Like I know it's made a bottom and it's up like 30% from that low or whatever that works out. But on the weekly chart, there is no trend break in the solar names, right? It's like alternative energy. I mean, it's not just the EVs that have been getting punked. It's these guys. Like I can't remember, like there's a bunch of solar, there's a few solar panels in my neighborhood, but nobody's put anything up in at least a couple of years. I think it was the last. And you hear that a lot. Like at this particular point, it's just the cost isn't there. So they're probably still in the doldrums. It's worth an idea to at least look for some volatility on Enphase. I didn't catch the intended or the expected move in particular there.
On which stock was it?
On Enphase. I don't know if you
Oh,
had
Enphase,
that.
yeah, I think it's 9 or 10%.
Yeah, so like not many things are going to give you double-digit moves. That's usually in the pocket where you can see that. But noticing Micron's moving back up here. We're still in the money, 35 cents on it, but it's really not moving. I'm just going to get on the bid at the quarters and take it out. When this is happening, see the wicks down on the rejection underneath 25, then I'm just going to get out here. We're able to get it off the top, but it's just not moving enough. When the market comes in, it's showing strength, and we have to respect that.
Yeah, so I have a little something here for everybody. Thanks to Adair, she just sent me this and found this because we were just talking about Tesla deliveries. And right there, I mean, here we go. Let's see, you know, all is well until it ain't. So let's just see what happens right now. Back into the downsides here. So here it is, Tesla's from Carbon Finance. First ever Q1 delivery drop. So let's just see what happens right now. Deliveries have already declined 8.5% year over year. So we're going to find out now what's good with Tesla. So it's not like you're ever scared of a stock or anything like that, because that's ridiculous. But this is going to be nervous hands for many traders here today, as Tesla's already dropped off. And, you know, I think it's going to be better than expected. I almost feel like it was a little bit of a kitchen sink somehow. So I'm going to hold out my opinion on, well, my opinion is is higher, but hard. It's really crazy to kind of make a prediction. We're just having fun with that. We had it was 50-50 almost. You said it was 44-40 on what people thought to happen.
44
Yeah,
down, 40 up.
Right, to what was going to happen here today. So, yeah, would not be a surprise to me at all if Tesla pulls some sort of a rabbit out of a hat here. Let's see. I mean, are the channel checks that wrong? that they are actually selling more than we think. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. I feel like their sales are probably going to be down, but I just look for the guide and potential talks about whatever the heck that robo-taxi is going to mean or be like, maybe talks from India, maybe getting away from China a little bit on some of their production. You know, I mean, Elon will be there, and whether or not he'll save the day or not is going to be seen. So we'll see. And it's always nice to have.
He wasn't enthusiastic
CEO.
last time.
That's the thing. It's always nice when you can hear their attitude and sort of see if you can pick something up on that. So
Not that it should matter as much as it does, but at the end of the day, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. If a certain part of the value of Tesla is in the trust of Elon Musk and his genius and his exuberance, then if he comes on the call and he's not excited, it is what it is. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, if you were trading Tesla when he actually came out and said, I think Tesla stock is overvalued, this was a few years ago, he said it's overvalued. I remember being in a short just being like, okay, that's a happy accident. Like, he just tanked the stock by a comment. He's going to move the market. His mood's going to move the market there. We'll see what's up there. But I think that reflects that no one's sure what's going to happen when we had that poll being at 50-50, because it could go absolutely either way. We have 5 minutes till the imbalances come out. Roblox came out.
God.
I already mentioned that. I'm already on the bid to get out of Micron. There was someone saying it's difficult to read the right side of the chart here. I will tell you, I know, I would love to be able to increase the font on the numbers in the slide. We actually can't do that. Like, the platform was built for trading and wasn't necessarily built for us to be showing it off on a show, on a program. But I'll let you guys know the price. That's why I said I'm bidding in front of 112.25 on Micron. On Rivian here, just to give you an idea, VWAP's at 908. So the last fill I got was at $9.08. And we're short up there at 921. Let's go to Adara.
Nice move up for Unity Group here. UNIT is the ticker, up over 7% amidst some rumors, again, not confirmation, but circulation, that Unity Group might have a business combination with Windstream worth $15 billion. So $15 billion combination possibilities, bringing UNIT to the upside with volume, guys.
All right, and of course that's not Unity software, so.
Okay, I heard it wrong.
That's what I was trying to tell you. It's not Unity. So yeah, that's symbol UNIT, as in G Unit.
The big unit? Okay, well.
G Unit.
G unit.
Right. So there it is right there. So you want to invest in G Unit or Unity, make sure you're investing in the right names. But right now.
That's happened before.
Yeah, here we go. All right, let's go. Let's get down. Let's get down to business. Shout out to Tiesto. If we get a downside move here, that'll be nice. So I don't have any more bids until 11s for some strange reason. So we're going to sit into here, right into this area. That's probably why. And then after that, let's see about a take of 53. And let's see if this market really wants to get down. Because here we go. We've been doing this, like we said, every single close. I feel like for the last little while, we've been doing this. So let's go. Let's hold on to this and see if we can make this trade sing a little bit here into the close. So that's what we're doing. We're going to see about a nice push down here for the triple Qs and the NASDAQ as a whole as we do brace for basically the start of big tech earnings. I mean, sure, we had TSM and we had Netflix, but again, the market caps really aren't there, rolling out over this week. We're going to be having, Meta, Google. Next week, we talked about Apple coming through. Amazon. So it's going to be definitely a big week. We've already had, so this week is about 40% of S&P market cap reporting this week. So 40% of the S&P's market cap reports this week. So it's a big week, needless to say.
Yeah, and most of it's in the three names that you said, right?
Yeah, and then you don't even have NVIDIA for a minute, so that doesn't even count. So,
that's a while.
Yeah, we'll wait to see.
NVIDIA's end of the month. No, never mind.
No, it's
22nd.
Yeah, end of May.
It's 1 month. It's 1 month away.
Yeah, you got to still see the disaster that's going to be AMD, and then you're going to have to deal with our friend NVIDIA.
Oh no, the worst quarter.
You know what? I haven't even looked yet.
The worst quarter is going to be Intel's quarter. They basically told you it's not going to be good.
Yeah, Intel could be a disaster too, but I think AMD will be bad. But look at this, 824, like all the way back. I haven't even looked at this today, which has been wrong. NVIDIA up huge today. AMD probably up as well. This is the first time I've looked at these all day, and it's 350. When honestly, my number one I think I looked, my number one stock, AMD, this month. We should have done that. There it is right there, 153.50. Who's going to the airport?
Huh? Ram.
Where's she going? Oh, okay.
No, she's
Got to clear that with me, Ramin.
she was dressed fancy today because she had to show up.
She always
at the
dresses
airport.
nice, though. I feel
No,
like.
I think she extra nice.
Oh,
today.
okay,
A little
extra nice.
extra.
Okay. Okay, well,
don't
safe
know.
trip then.
Yeah.
All right, 153.50 right now. I was just glad she's like not. He's gonna be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Ramin? Vacation or tomorrow you're back? She's here. She's here. She's always here in spirit, regardless. So
There she goes.
see you. Ciao. All right, Ramin. All right, good. So there it is. 153.50. Now I feel real bad because that's all me every day. We should be short AMD, and that's a trade that you guys know I take 10 times out of 10. So missed opportunity right there. My bad. We should be short AMD. I mean, here I am. I should have looked at. It wasn't me being stubborn. I just sort of forgot about all these names because we're just addicted to this TQs now in Palantir. But that, wow. Normally we're short there, and we should have been, and we had many opportunities to get that. Missed trade opportunity, maybe I'll talk about that or maybe not on the market recap. So join me in just about 10 minutes and we'll have all the earnings for you live. You don't have to wait for other channels to figure it out. We're gonna have it live as soon as it drops. Live level 2, live charts, and the word live as well.
Yes. Oh, well, how many times?
Oh, by the way, it's gonna be live.
Is it live?
Today, let me think. Yes, today it's
Okay.
live.
I just
yeah.
wanted to double check that. What is AMD? CompuCare team, Niels. I don't understand the question. Maybe, Niels, what is AMD will be on earnings? Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you could clarify that one. I was just checking to see exactly
You
what.
think they're gonna be good earnings or bad earnings?
So it was AMD that reports at the end of the month. I mixed that up with NVIDIA. It's AMD's on the 30th, so I was just mixing the two of them up there. Do I think good or bad on AMD? I think the market reaction, good for them that they've already pulled back a little bit. So my take is if Intel's really, really bad, then that gives the opportunity for whatever comes out for AMD. Sorry, I have the imbalances up because they're about to come out. Whatever happens on AMD to be perceived well. They're already down 35% from the highs. Intel's probably going to be bad, so I think they have a better chance of going up because in comparison they'll look good. But I don't think, I mean, margins aren't good haven't been going up for any of them, and the demand's been going down recently. So I don't know that they'll be fantastic numbers, but I think they'll just be better in comparison to Intel and have a better chance of going up based on that. But I don't think Intel's going to have a good quarter on Thursday. Imbalances are mostly Ford, 2.5 million to the sell on Ford, and then BAC is a buy of 840, Snapchat's a 770,000 buy, Lucid, I mean 750,000 sell on Lucid. The stock's only $2.50.
Right.
That's a nothing burger. I mean Upstart. None of the big names in here that I see. Cliff reported they're 500,000 to the buy side. None of the big cap NASDAQ names appear to be here unless they've taken a hot minute to hit. No, there's I go back up and I see Microsoft 600,000 to sell.
Okay.
The overall number is only 400 million to sell, with Ford, I guess, being the big one, but it's a $13 stock, so 2.5 million is not a big notional value at all. So not much there when it comes to these earnings. I'm just still in the two names. Intel kind of rolling over a bit. The low is, I don't think we'll necessarily see the low because that's 34.18. We'll probably have to stick a bid in front of 25. And then Rivian is, I'm bidding in front of 9 even. So I want this 9 even level. Rivian had a good day today. End up going 1 for 2 on Rivian. And essentially, actually it's not true. We end up going 1 for 3 on Rivian because that's like 2 separate trades in there. But because we adhered to stop, we'll end up being green on it, but not by much, because I am 1 for 3 on the stock. If it holds $9, this actually might be turning into a bit of a long. If, and this is a big if Tesla doesn't crap the bed. I will not be going long Rivian if Tesla is losing 140 tomorrow. Mark my words. I don't want any of that smoke. If I'm going long in Rivian over 9, then Tesla better at least be coming to the party the right way.
Yeah, you better get to that party ASAP because Rivian needs a big party immediately. Like that stock it needs to find its base or else. Like if they report and disaster strikes, I mean, I don't know how far that stock will go. Maybe Fisker, it can go.
Not that bad.
Okay.
Well, Fisker's, I mean, it's a penny. Like Fisker's already the OTC.
Right. I'm just saying where it could go.
No, they could die.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they could join each other.
I think every single EV name that doesn't have a legacy business or isn't Tesla is at risk.
Yep.
In the long run, all of them.
I mean, they're making cars. First of all, Rivian can't even make enough cars on time, and then every car they do make, they lose like 80 grand on.
Lucid.
If I was them, I'd close the damn door.
Lucid's got unlimited Saudi money, so they might have a little.
That's
bit
what I'm saying.
They get like maybe longer of a
leash.
Leash? That's the word I'm looking for. But everybody else has the reality sets in, right?
And then reality sets in with what we're doing every single day. These are trades that we could all have, man. Shorting the market. I mean, whatever vehicle you want, the SPY, the NASDAQ, the TQQs, whatever you want. This has been a good trade, and it's continuously going, or continuing to go down. Continuously going, I don't know. We're going to put some more bids here because, honestly, we're now just minutes away from me having to go over to the desk to do that recap show with Adara, which should be a lot of fun today. We do have earnings on deck, which should be hilarious because Tesla is what we just talked about, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So join myself, Adara, and Brian Shannon coming from Anchored VWAP fame and from Trader TV Live fame as well. Brian Shannon coming through very, very soon. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's just get out of Palantir. It's really doing a whole heck of nothing. Palantir is PL1 for me, despite what's happening right here with the TQQs. I would hope that this could come in a lot here, but at 355, we already came up with, Adara said the imbalance was 400 million to sell, NASDAQ unincluded in that number. Every number that we give you is just NYSE based, but as you can see, all the big ones left are NASDAQ. So we've got Lucid, they're all gonna flip in 2 and 1, and now it's 355. So now they're all gone as described. So now let's see what's left. Ford still a sell. No surprise there as they're gonna report tomorrow night. GM had a decent day, but they were starting to head back up. We'll double check them before I go. Walmart. Again, remember Walmart? They had that deal with not with a firm, but their own buy now, pay later. So Walmart down 2% today. There's Apple with the bid at the end. Whoops, there it is. There's Apple with a bid at the end of the day. So that's not helping our TQQ position by any stretch of the imagination. So let's start to get, ooh, okay, we did get that fill down there. All right, so far so good. We're just gonna ease out of this one with only a few minutes left before we run this market into, I mean, it's been a good day. I was gonna say it's running into the ground, but it's not really. You're still up 1.5%. I mean, what a good day, but really happy with this fallout here, and not the show, but the fallout in the NASDAQ. I still gotta watch that show.
Still a great show. You'll like it. Like Fabian's a big fan. I know.
I still didn't watch Free Body Count though.
I've known you for a while.
I'm only on episode 1.5.
I'll say this: you probably will enjoy Fallout more than the 3 Body Problem. Like the 3 Body Problem is a little.
I told you the problem with that was
science fiction, but you will like Fallout more.
I feel like I had to focus too much. Like I was still there, but it's like I was watching. Like by the time I'm watching TV, it's like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Fallout's way more like Mad Max-ish.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit more it's not close
and it's
enough
visually supposed to be pretty
visually
impressive.
Fantastic.
Right.
The quality's so good. But I'm out of Rivian at 903, and again, this one made a triple top at 925. We shorted at 20s and 21s. It's going to end up maybe bouncing off of 9 even. Oh, and you know what? Sometimes the best trade you make is the one you get out of.
Yep.
Remember, I was like, Roblox ain't working. Let's just get out of the 76 long when it breaks 65. Well, Roblox went 50 cents down. If you don't have a stop there, that's an extra 50 pennies.
Bye-bye.
On that one. So the shorts end up paying off at the end of the day, but sometimes you have to get out. It was the only thing. What else did we long today? I'm thinking, what else did I long today? Roblox.
Probably I had Amazon.
Oh, no, I bungled the coin trade.
What?
No, I screwed up the coin trade.
Yeah, okay.
So here's coin, by the way, if you're watching the morning show. Hi, coin went to $238, and remember the 228 breakout we were yelling about yesterday that it didn't happen? Well, it happened this morning, and I did this with it. So, sometimes it be like that. That said, coin, it did give the run. There's a difference between this is an important level or this is your entry. You still have your own personal execution strategy. So the breakout trade wasn't it. It was the dip buy that was a little bit more important.
All right, I have to go.
All good. You got to get over there, get ready for the recap show for sure. Just say that again.
Matthew Morley will be ringing the bell.
Oh, this is amazing. We got Matthew Morley going to be ringing the bell for us in about 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes now as I check my clock, which is right over here. So we got a couple of minutes to go. Shout out to Matthew. Appreciate it. It's a lot. You know what? It's a heck of a lot of fun because when we first got the bell,
nice to meet you.
like the idea was gonna be like, hey, we'll have like traders and guests ring it every single day to get that feel, get the excitement in the morning, and we love it. But usually, like I got to ring it a couple times. Usually we're trading. I happen to be flat every now and then. It's just a lot of fun. We've had some guests do it. We've had some viewers that have traveled that have been able to do it, and we've had some traders on the floor every now and then able to ring the bell. We've had Brankles. You guys have had some fun with that there. So with 1 minute to go, I'm just going to double check a few things. I'm going to have, let me first just cancel. Hey, Neil, remember to cancel your orders and script orders that you don't want to take fills in the aftermarket. I'm just going to be watching Tesla here as we go into the close, because I suspect we might have that quick turnaround to get up to the desk. Because Tesla might be reporting right away. So it is what it is. Tesla aftermarket, they're not the only ones. You can have Enphase, Texas Instruments. Tomorrow morning you got some earnings to chew through as well. But everybody's more focused on what Tesla brings to the table because they're the only Mag 7 name that has been an absolute, I mean, a couple names, Apple hasn't been that strong, but it's Tesla that's been burning everybody's pockets to the downside. So that's the one a lot of people are going to be clued in on. But hey, you don't want to see my ugly mug. You've been seeing a heck of a lot of love. Let's get the camera on Matt. Let's go. There we go. Matt locked and loaded, ready to ring the bell. We got less than 10 seconds, looking sharp and making everyone around here look like bums. I got to dress sharp every now and then. In 3, 2, and 1. There it is, a little rhythm. Appreciate you. Get a little fist bump action in there. So, look, fun day. Shout out to Fabian on the 1s and 2s. Ramin, hopefully she has a safe drive going to the airport to pick up family. And a big shout out to Sharif and Adara on the midday, as always, kicking butt. And Adara doing double duty, triple duty, quadruple duty, as she'll be on the desk for the aftermarket recap show. Shout out to everybody and all of our great viewers. It was a fun day in the markets. Whether you win or lose, I hope you guys learned something. Like I said, like I bungled that coin trade today. That was one of my #1 ideas, and I don't end up making money on a long that went like 10 bucks. But it's going to happen to you. All you can do is get back on that horse tomorrow. But don't worry. We got Tesla earnings. You know the fire and the excitement's going to be there. You know who I am. You know where you are headed. It is to the aftermarket recap show with Adara and Mr. Katina. Go get them. Go Tesla.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Market Recap Show. And it's going to be a big one, Adara. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, good, because I am. We got Tesla, we got Visa, we got everything. Could you take Adara out of my ear if you have a chance right now, Fabian? Thank you so much for that one. All right, so here we go. It's time to go, man. It's going to be Tesla today. We're waiting for them immediately. I'm hearing right now Texas Instruments is out. So TXN, let's have a quick little look here. We'll go over to a 1-minute chart. Slap that over here, Adara. There it is. It is a nice move to the upside right now for Texas Instruments. I'm just going to load this up and figure out what exactly they needed here for Texas Instruments, but there it is. It's a nice beat. We do have Benzinga out right now. I see it on here.
I found it.
Go ahead. You got it? Go ahead.
Yeah, so they actually had a drop here. Revenue decreasing 16% from the same quarter a year ago. So 16% year-over-year declines there for revenue. A revenue number coming in 3.66 billion, earnings per share of 120. I'm not seeing how that compares to the estimates.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Beat across the board. They did beat across the board for both GAAP EPS and sales, although, as mentioned, they did have a year-over-year decline there for their revenue, so that's...
Okay, thanks, Adara. Yeah, here we go, 171 and change. Good, great. I mean, that's what we're going to do. That's why right now, Adara and I, we're going to be the team that all of you want because we're going to give you the information. We're going to have a good time here. We're going to talk about trading, but right now it's Texas Instruments. It is out, and it's rocking, 174. Nice move to the upside. Watch out for a 175 break right now on Texas Instruments as that continues to go. What a green day it was, man. FXI leading the way to the upside. There, we always talk about FXI, don't we? Maybe we should talk about something else. Today, the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 continued their upward momentum from Friday. Is Tesla out? Did I just hear that? Tesla might be out, Adara. No, I don't think it's out yet. We will talk about that just real quick. Look at this. Today's movement. Look at the board across there, man. Microsoft, Google, Meta, the big dog NVIDIA. Who bought that bottom on NVIDIA, man? 770 yesterday? Monster move. Today, major earnings reporting after the market close, including more than 40% of the S&P's market cap as Tesla Oh no, Tesla just touched 150 right there. Wow. Tesla's starting to go to the upside right now. Are we out? Potentially we are. Adair's going to be all over that one once we see Tesla, but here it goes. Remember, the implied move for Tesla was 9.7%. So right there, up to 150. I said greater than 142. Neil was under, Brendo was under, Sharif was over. Let's go Tesla. I said, where's that rabbit, Elon? Are you pulling that out of the hat or what? It's Tesla upside. Let me know, Adara, because I'm hearing in my ear adjusted EPS of 45 cents
Not seeing it yet.
versus 52. EPS lower apparently for Tesla, so that's sending this down. As soon as Adara gets it, we're going to get it to you. Okay, lower.
Revenue miss and EPS miss there. Revenue coming in 21 I didn't hear the whole thing, $1 billion, but the point is the estimate was 22 billion, so they did miss there for revenue and EPS, about 5-cent miss, but they're moving to the upside here.
Tesla is definitely doing exactly what no one thought. Tesla right now up 7%. I mean, hey, we talked about where's this surprise. Look at her go, Dara. Tesla's now Moon City right now. Let's see what's happening. Here goes Tesla, 157 and change. Look what it looks like live. I mean, who else is doing this? Revenue, 21.3 billion. Revenue up right now. 9% up move for revenue. It is out. Tesla is out. 100% it's out. I'm hearing it in my ear. It's just we don't have anything confirmed on Benzinga, and we're not going to do that, Adara, until we get something.
Yeah.
Whenever you have something confirmed, come with it, because right now there's Tesla.
I have some notes.
Interrupt me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so they did mention there's a sequential decline in volumes for the quarter, which was partially caused by that factory shutdown going on in Gigafactory Berlin. Also saying that their robotaxi product will continue to pursue a revolutionary unboxed manufacturing strategy. So you know, Elon earlier saying August 8th, 2024, the date for the robotaxi. Now teasing that robotaxi a little bit here in that earnings report. They also said they want to make their supervised full self-drive more accessible. In order to do so, they reduce the price of the subscription. So reduce the subscription price. That's how they're contextualizing that drop. As you know, we had that FSD drop from 12,000 to 8,000. So contextualizing that there.
You see how it says Sean Katina? I've never looked better. You know, that's the wrong title there. Thank you to Adara for coming through again. Let's make sure. Again, put those ones up in the chat, man. Adara definitely helping out, and a big change to the show that, quite frankly, I was like, yo, let's get someone else on the desk, you know, and I'm just so happy that you were down with that. All right, another one that's out. Mattel is out right now as well. EPS right now, minus 5 cents, beating 12. So boom on that one. Sales is a miss. 810 versus 830. So just to show you guys what we're talking about, this is Mattel right here. 25 cents versus 12, miss on sales. But Mattel going to the upside right now. Apparently Enphase is out. So there goes Enphase, bang, up and down right now. Enphase touches 110, but you know what? That's nice, Enphase. What's up with Tesla? Tesla is still saying, hold my beer. Hold the beer. Did I not save that? Hold the... I did it, but I didn't save it. So there we go. We got Tesla, Texas Instruments on the board as well. Let's go back here and check out Texas Instruments really quickly. So there's the updated board. We have Trader Talk with Brian Shannon coming soon. What's up to Brian? We also have right now, hey, Adara, go get this number right now. Visa is... I
have Visa.
Visa's out.
Yep.
Come to the chart real quick, then we'll go to Adara. Right now, Visa is Rip City. This is one that we talked about on the podcast. We liked, or maybe not, we liked Visa against AXP. We saw a big number from AXP. Adara, kill him.
Yeah, I mean, they're beat across the board, and they beat last quarter as well, so Visa continuing to the upside here. Adjusted EPS beat 250 versus expected 244. Revenue beat 8.8 million versus expected 8.6 million. Net income beat 5.1 million versus 4.9 million expected. So they are not down on anything that I am seeing right now. What else happening here? They declared a quarterly dividend of 52 cents. Visa cannot lose over here. Nice increases across the board. Payment volume increasing 8% year over year. So, I mean, increases, beats, Visa, not at all a bad look.
No, a great look for Visa, and we talked about that. Let's figure out the strength of this retail, because honestly, Adara, I don't know about you, but like I make a purchase, bang, slap down that Visa every single time. I get the points.
Yeah, I have a Visa as well.
You have a points card, or like
I have a dividends card.
What is a dividends
So it's
card
like cash dividends. So like when I
like
want, I can
reinvest it
take it
for
out.
you?
Yeah. So it's like I get points or I get dollar amount per purchase, and then if I see that my the amount that I have, I can withdraw it and then take it for cash. Yeah, it's like cash back.
I like that. I like that. We get the cash back as well. Tesla right now with a nice pullback right here. So we'll find out what. Hold on, we're both listening.
Yeah.
Gigafactory Shanghai production down. So that's not good. We talked about them potentially looking at India for production, but if their production is down, that's obviously going to signal, hey, they've already cut jobs. We'll wait to see demand. I'm not sure we have anything on the guide yet.
I have some more notes here from Tesla. Not the gig, but they not the guide yet, but they did say their quarterly operating income has been, they're saying, impacted by the decline in vehicle deliveries, which they are still kind of addressing here to what happened with the Giga Berlin factory. Updated future vehicle line to accelerate the launch of new models. So they're saying they might release some of these new models earlier ahead of previously communicated start of production in second half of 2025. So they're saying accelerated, but they're not giving us any dates, is what we're seeing right now on TSLA. I'm still seeing stuff come in, so I will keep you guys updated as I see anything big.
All right, Adara, again, thanks for doing all of this, man. You're getting a lot of nice comments in the chat, a lot of people loving the back and forth. They're loving the energy, and that's what we're going to do here at Trader TV Live. And we're about to have a banger guest come through as well. Welcome Brian Shannon soon to he's ready? Yeah, whenever you're ready, Brian, because, yeah, Tesla's moving around right now. Let me just quickly look at the daily chart for Tesla. So we're already ticked right here up to 152. We need to get up to 160 before we go on Tesla right now. So we're going to wait for that. They are talking more and more right now all about everything. This is Benzinga Pro. You know, Mattel moving around right now. Trading falling higher right now. A Q1 gap gross margin. There it is. This is pretty interesting. 17.4% gross margin. I remember I think it was last year, they were in the high 20s. So right now, gross margin, Adara, definitely being affected. One more time, let's just quickly go right now. Visa still holding highs. Texas Instruments, a quick little look on that. Up to 175, let's go. Yeah, we're eating on that one, man. People getting fed up on Texas Instruments. If you got that long, it's a good day, man. It's not a chicken dinner winner tonight, man. Maybe you're eating lobster. You like lobster?
I do like lobster. I've waxed poetic before to Fabian and Ramin about my love of Red Lobster, which I realize is not great lobster, but my friend and I like to go sometimes.
I'm down with Red Lobster. Red Lobster is really fun because you get the those buns.
The biscuits.
The biscuits.
Yeah. And you can take leftovers. I usually will just have tons of leftovers. Yeah, it's nice.
We haven't gone there in forever, but you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, I'll take the kids because they'll just get full on the biscuits.
There you go. Yeah.
One of my kids, my son does not like shrimp, but we had, my wife made this wicked green curry shrimp dish yesterday.
That sounds good.
Like from scratch, like made
really
the curry.
good.
Shut up, Marissa. Okay, let's go, man. We're still going. We didn't even look at end phase yet, did we?
I have end phase numbers, and they're pretty disappointing here.
End phase right now, Adara down 5.7% and still going lower. End phase right now looking to take out 100. You better watch out for this $94, $95 level. We are way under. You know what, Adara? I'm going to drop an anchored VWAP off this November low right now and see where we are. So the anchor right now is right there. Okay, so right there where we were today, 113 and change. Oh man, where's Brian? He's gonna come on, and when I show him this, man, it's a good thing this guy doesn't have an ego because he nails a lot of these calls. Shout out to Brian and the anchored VWAP as we just hovered right around there. Boom to the downside goes end phase, but everybody wants more and more Tesla. So there's Tesla right now up to 154 and still going. So this is what's going, man. And remember, this was the whole thing about Tesla. This is what happens when everybody is bearish on a name. Look left, see what's happening right. Everybody's so nervous about Tesla, and then, up to 155 and change. Up goes Tesla right now. Just one of those things, Adara. Yeah. When you're thinking one way, it often is the other. Anything else coming across your board that you want to?
I have a lot of notes on Tesla here that I want to mention. Notably, we know if you say AI in an earnings call, sometimes people get excited. And guess what Tesla did here? Tesla, in artificial intelligence, software and hardware, we will continue to increase our core AI infrastructure capacity in the coming months. So we know sometimes there is that debate is Tesla is a car company or automotive company or more of a tech company, and they're certainly trying to emphasize that tech aspect here in this earnings call. They also said they're remaining committed to company-wide cost reduction which of course we know with those layoffs, so interesting note there as well. They also said new vehicles, including the more affordable models, will utilize aspects of their next generation platform. So just some updates here. Again, not a lot of timing on a lot of these updates other than, oh, this will be sooner or we want this in the future, but certainly nice look and certainly a change in pace from some of those more bearish calls that Elon Musk gave, specifically that Q3 2023 earnings call. Not seeing a lot of bearishness here from so far.
Okay, yeah, good little look there. Yeah, people saying rest in peace their Tesla puts. Yeah, I think for now that's probably in the pocket. But don't like what's happening now. I mean, tomorrow we'll talk about that conference call. There's more to come with Tesla. Like I'm a bull. You know, we talked about that. I said this morning, and it wasn't very popular. The under was hitting. I was like over under where we're opening today at 142. I was over. I talked about that. I'm not necessarily confident. I'm not willing to sort of pat ourselves on the back with that one, but Tesla is starting to go back up to the upside. This is a 5-minute chart. So you're seeing it's trying to hold that 156. So potentially a little bit of a level there. We have that 157, 158 on a daily. That could be looking at a decent level there for Tesla. But again, Adair, even if we put a sort of an anchor, I mean, this is not going to be great. I don't even know really where to put it. If you put it back down to those October lows, obviously we're not getting anywhere up there. So 200 and change Adair for Tesla. I think that's a little rich. We'll wait to see if that comes through. You know, what happened at the end of the day with triple Qs? Because I was short TQQ, and I think I came over here with still a position on board right there, but I think we got to fill at the end of the day right there. So a nice move back in. We were short the market the whole way, but guess what's happening right now? The TQs are starting to blast upside now again, up 5%, starting to go. We'll see if the NASDAQ wants to continue this move higher. I mean, this is forget about the TQs. This is just the normal Qs. So this is the NASDAQ. We'll see what exactly the action is here in the aftermarket. 425 up to 426. A little muted. No, I was just saying that Tesla up at that level could be something up near 200, but I don't think we're getting there. That's quite a ways away. I'm just trying to scan here. Benzinga platform and see if there was anything that potentially we've missed so far here today. Let me just go back over before we do call on Brian, who's getting ready to rock and roll. Tesla, big day, man, up to 154. I like that. But remember what the expected earnings move was? 9.3%. So we're still underneath that at 8 and change. But it does look like everybody looking right, and Tesla says look left. Rivian on a nice move again. Neil mentioned this, the base down there at $8. We'll see what happens here for Rivian, up and down on that one, not much happening. What about the older car makers? We have Ford coming through later on this week, or tomorrow actually, before market open, Adara, and nothing happening with Ford. And then GM with a big day for GM, up 4 and a bit today. But what a good day it was. Anything else on earnings? And then I'll review some sectors, and then we'll go over to Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I can really quickly go over Enphase because I know we mentioned the drop, but not the details. It's a bad look. They missed last earnings, and they missed again across the board here. EPS missed 35 cents versus 40 cents expected. Sales missed 263 million versus 282 million expected, so big miss there. And then Q2 revenue forecast 290 to 330 million versus 350 million expected. So very rough look here for Enphase, ENPH falling to the downside just as strongly as Tesla was going to the upside there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good one there. I just want to quickly, before we do get on with Brian, because I know he's waiting, and I don't make that guy wait at all. Energy today, XLE, nicely done to the upside. Really got going all day. So energy upside. Let me just check what on USO, because look at this. Good move up again for United States oil. So even if we flip it over to a daily chart, we did have a nice dump off there with oil and demand. We did have sort of and I think it's good. Like, oil, obviously, Adara runs on some of that Iran news. So, you know, it's nice to see a nice move down on some conflict, not resolution, but nothing really happened over the weekend, which is nice for now. So no retaliation, but oil back to the upside. I still think that story has more in it. All right, TAN, we could see that definitely moving with that end phase. So that should be something to look at tomorrow. And then the rise of the banks. You want to talk about resilience? I feel like XLF, JP Morgan was a monster. Morgan Stanley. I mean, look at this. From this bottom, I am going to drop an anchored VWAP. I was really hoping that we would fall back into this level for XLF, but that didn't happen at all, down to $38. Look at Morgan Stanley. Remember that one day where they had wealth management issues, that they were getting probed into that? No one ever wants to get a probe, especially if you are a financial institution. All the way down there to 85 Adara, but bounces off to 200, come out with earnings and blast right back up to the top. And then you can never keep the king down. And JP Morgan again. You know what? JP Morgan might have bounced. I feel like the anchor is going to be lower because of where we are. Yeah, because JP Morgan just ripped to the upside. But again, nice bounce there at 180. Without any further ado, gold is actually down today. That's kind of interesting. Maybe we can talk to Brian a little bit about gold. But hey, it's time for Trader Talk. It's the man, it's the myth. It's not much of a legend because he's here with us right now. He's a live, living legend.
Yeah.
This is Brian Shannon in Trader Talk. I misspoke there, Brian, because you are a legend. You're just a living legend. You know what I'm saying?
You're too kind, Sean.
Well, thank you. And this is your book, by the way. We'll promote that after. All right. How was your trading day? Anything popping up on your radar today?
Yeah, it's been a good week. You know, you're talking about oil, and one that's really of interest, Sean, is the oil service sector.
Right.
OIH. If you look at my screen, I hadn't done this. I was just getting prepared for you. And I've been looking at the weekly and the daily, the daily and the 30-minute time frame. And, you know, we're down to the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. We're above the year-to-date anchor, and that 5-day moving average is starting to curl higher. But what was really interesting, which I hadn't done, we did this last week with the TAN, was I went to a monthly time frame and put an anchor on that high from 2014. And look at that, how well it is held below that level there. Just amazing how that anchor from the high in 2014, that this entire decline has been stuck under it. And now we're tapping several times underneath and pinching between the low from 2021. Looks like the oil service stocks could get going. I'm looking for a little bit of maybe pullback in the morning and then get going, and perhaps up to the monthly date anchor is where I'm looking for it to go.
Do you ever, good call there on oil. I know, do you ever consider macro at all when you're looking at things like that? Like, would you stay away from a great setup because you're sort of thinking that maybe potentially, especially in the Middle East, that there's that conflict there? Is that enough to scare you, or are you just looking strictly at the charts and you'll always take a trade based on what the signals are given?
I'll always take the trade, but if there's some heightened sense of risk due to, you know, some macro factor, it's position size for me to mitigate that risk. But I've you know, in my career, I've let go of too many stocks or watched them go without me, thinking, well, I couldn't get into that because the market's down or whatever. Yesterday, I had some decent longs in spite of the fact that we were below the declining 5-day moving average. And that's kind of one of my things. I don't like to be aggressive. But if you've got individual stocks setting up, you've got to take the individual stock setups, each stock on its own merits. I think I say it every week, Sean.
Yeah, no, and that's 100%. That's why I asked you. You know, we get new viewers every once in a while. Big earnings week today. Tesla on everybody's mind. I mean, what an absolute monster. I'll give you a couple seconds maybe to call that one up, because I did want to ask you. Here's a 30-minute chart for Tesla. We are breaking above the 200. It did have a nice top here in and around 157, but if I put this over to a minute chart right now, we're coming back in. So today we had a question, will Tesla basically be up or down from today's open? We had a nice move up today. If I call up a 3-minute or 5-minute chart maybe, Tesla kind of just edged its way higher, closed relatively flat on a nice level in and around this 144 and change, but now Tesla takes off up into 155. The reason why I ask you this is because it's a very mixed environment, especially with our viewers. There's some Tesla bulls out there, there's some Tesla bears out there. Obviously, with this move back up, it doesn't necessarily justify being bullish. I mean, the way we've come down, it's been hit pretty hard. Do you see potentially on your charting any signs of recovery here? Do the bulls have hope?
Unfortunately for the bulls, I really don't think so. I mean, if you look at the daily chart, we got stuck at the year-to-date anchor over here. And since then, we've seen a very clear pattern of lower highs and lower lows. Until that pattern's broken, you're going to get bounces that can be traded like this one, but we're below a declining 20-day moving average, declining 50-day moving average, declining 200-day moving average. The big money has been moving out of Tesla. Now, maybe is it going to find some buyers in this general area? We spoke about perhaps a flush below this low and then a little bit of a bounce. But again, we've got a declining 10, 20, 30, 40-week moving average. The only institution I'm aware that's buying this is the one that Noah is familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, that the bulls on Tesla, Brian, have had themselves a minute. And I mean, I was hoping that you were going to say maybe we were all clear there, but I agree with you. Let's give it a little bit more room here on Tesla to make a decision. I'd love to see a close above that 160 marker right there for Tesla. So Adara, we have over 4,000 watching, and I don't know if you've met Adara before, Brian, but she's
not, but I'm familiar with her, of course.
Yeah, she's brand new on our desk, and she has a question for you.
Hi, Adara.
Nice to meet you here. There's a question in the chat here for you from Trade and Grow saying, asking if you trade options, stocks, or both?
Both. Mainly stocks, but you know, when I perceive a little bit more risk in the individual stock, or again, going back to Sean's earlier question, what if the macro conditions aren't as good, but I see a trade setting up? Well, with an option, I know I can 100% limit my risk. So it's for me a risk mitigation tool more so than a leverage play.
Right, right. Okay, good call right there. Yeah, a lot of people in our chat want to know about options versus stocks, and I've asked you that before. I just looked on your Alpha, so go find Brian at Alpha Trends over on X, first of all. But you tweeted this out, was this today? Yes, it was. Today, this morning. I have posted this setup a dozen times on the SPY. And
Dozens, yeah.
Yeah, and this time it worked again. Brian, this is what we're all about, educating traders on the show. So if you don't mind, if we ever have setups that are going to work, and especially if you're going to post it, you have over 20,000 views on this, so congratulations. Your Twitter account is one of the best on the web. Is Twitter on the web?
In the web, yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. One of the best accounts there to find it out. Very educational. Can we break down this spider trade that potentially you saw here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look. What we'll do is go to first the 15-minute time frame.
Sure.
And what so yesterday we got up to the declining 5-day moving average, and we closed lower. We did close right above the yesterday's anchor, though. So it was starting to potentially turn. Now, the 5-day moving average was still declining. And with the setup that I had outlined, and as you said, you can see the actual slide there on Twitter, is that when the market's down 3 to 7 days in a row or so, and it gets pretty oversold, I'm generally not a buyer with the market below the 5-day moving average. But when we get a gap above the 5-day moving average, to me, that sends a powerful message that it's time to look to a shorter term time frame for an entry. And one of the chapters in the book, as you know, Sean, is don't chase the gap, wait for the VWAP. You talk about it all the time.
Love that.
And this little arrow here is what I'm talking about. So this is a 1-minute time frame on the SPY. And we saw the gap higher this morning. We kind of went back and forth a little bit, made a lower low, and then got back above the daily volume weighted average price right here.
I love that.
That's your purchase price with a stop below the low of the day. And as I outlined, there's typically a little bit of a midday maybe shakeout below that VWAP. We didn't even get that. It was so strong. It just continued up close to the high of the day. And that is just been one of the most powerful setups for finding a turn in the market after several down days. Over the last 10 years, I've probably posted that tweet, 2-3 dozen times.
That's why you're the best, Brian. I wanted to ask you, you see how you drew that? Do you have a trailing stop? Like you said that we didn't break VWAP there. We didn't even really test it throughout the day. What if it did break right there? Is that something where you would say, let's just say you didn't have anything out, would that be a 50% retracement level of potential of your position where you would get out of maybe half of your shares if we ever broke that VWAP? Or are you waiting for a solid break and then maybe the next candle to hold underneath, something like that? Because for me, that's my biggest problem, is trying to figure out when to get out of position. And then we all make the mistake. I mean, if you've been trading for as long as we have, you're always going to get out of something and then look back and say, why did I do that? Why did I just leave half of my position on the table there? So would have that been an out, or where are the trails once you've made that in?
Great question. And back to my screen here, if we look at, why didn't that hold? Here, if we look at that 1 minute time frame, again, the initial stop was below the low of the day. As it makes a new high, then we expect a pullback and a higher low. So the stop, as it starts to move once again, let me just center this and blow it up a little bit so people can actually see it. So here is the first, basically 2 hours of the day. We have, new momentum after this little pullback. So what I'm looking at is the definition of trend all the time, higher highs and higher lows. So we make that higher high, we pull back, and then we rally, make a higher low, stop goes under there. Right. Pull back, make a higher high, stop goes under there. Pull back, make a higher high, stop goes under there. Pull back, same thing over and over again. And then this is the higher low. So getting out right in here for the most aggressive part of it. And I actually got out of all of it thinking that we were going to undercut and then I would get back in later. So just like you said, we always look back and say, why did I sell that? What was I looking at? But, to me, it's the definition of trend for the time frame you're on. I knew this was a day trade. So that's how I was looking at that there.
Yeah, great call there. And I think that's it's just funny that we just talked about that. I was like, you get out of it and then you watch it go back up. The hardest part is really getting back in, and I feel like that's something. Have you looked at Meta? I mean, I asked yesterday, we had Chris Varley on from Trade Ideas. He thought Meta had the best chance to hold its current levels. We talked about the advertising space, and just it's been really working. They've been a definite rocket ship up here with Meta Platforms. And if you come over to my screen just on the daily, I almost feel like we're getting ready to slip up here a little bit. I was going to do this with you live on the show, so I'm doing it. I'm going to drop an anchor right before this last gapped earnings play. And Brian, looky what we find here again, my friend. We are hovering. I mean, first of all, let's give it up for Brian. I'm not going to play around anymore. We've had a lot of people, Adara, on this show, that technical analysis, CMTs, and everything like that. Brian, you've knocked it out with a lot of this anchored view up. I want to thank you for all the work that you've done for this. But right now, Meta is hovering right on this anchor. I'm nervous about losing this 480 because if we do, I wonder about a gap fill back in here to 400. If they come out and guide lower, talk about lower ad revenues, I'm not sure what they're going to say. But to me, Meta is a little nervous hands. And I actually trimmed a little bit in my long-term portfolio. I'm a little embarrassed to say that because I do think Meta has the potential to blow up here. But what are we looking at with Meta reporting tomorrow after market? If we lose that 480, are we in trouble?
Probably, Sean. I think that the next level you want to look at is a year-to-date anchor, which would bring you down to about 460 or so. And that's the first level I would look at. And that's kind of coincident with the lows of that gap you had previously seen there in February. So that 458, 460 level looks like the most important near-term area tomorrow. And, if it can hold in there, then, I don't see an immediate gap fill for Meta, but it definitely is a little bit reason for caution. That 50-day moving average would then start to flatten out. The 20 is declining right now. I think you're smart for being cautious here. I mean, it's had a massive run the last couple of years, and a little bit of sell the news wouldn't be a big surprise, really.
Yeah, I think you gotta take some profit off at some point. I mean, if you're going to sit there and hold everything until the cows come home, eventually they'll come home. We saw Meta lose, I think it was 70% from its highs there, Brian. All right, we're over time, but doesn't matter, it's our show. Can you stay for a couple more minutes? Because I wanted to ask you if there was anything specifically that you wanted to look at moving forward, because so far you've just taken some of the bullets that I've fired. Is there anything maybe that you're looking at as a trade idea for potentially some of the viewers that are out there?
Sure. A couple of the ones that I've put on Twitter recently. I know that you're interested in Disney, Sean, and Disney is kind of, hovering near that the 50-day moving average. We've got the anchor from the gap right here as well. So that's kind of an interesting level that maybe it could get going here again. I've been talking about, well, I like Generac. I got long Generac today, finally. And this one, if, you know, as the phrase goes, if they didn't scare you out, they've worn you out at some point in here. Generac looks like it could finally continue to move higher. You know, Halliburton is one of those oil service stocks that might be able to make some upside from here. CCJ, thinking tomorrow, if we get a little bit of a pullback and then break these highs, that Kamiko could go. So those are the few I've had an eye on. I've also got some CPNG, which I put on Twitter this morning, and LPG was a beauty here. Just a perfect setup for the purchase down at $40.50 this morning.
Brian, we still have over 3,000 watching. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. So thank you for doing all of that. One trade that I keep asking everybody about, thanks for bringing up Disney. For me, we got some out like at 112, 117, 121 and change. So we're holding fort right now. What about UNG? So this is a name that a lot of traders like because it is the Widowmaker, as you've told us, as well as Dr. Copper and things like that. But right now, UNG is looking pretty good off the bottom, trying to take out this 50-period moving average. To me, this looks, I don't like to trade it, but there's a lot of people that, this is one of those YOLO names. If you're going against this level, it's not the end of the world to potentially take a long here and see if we can get back up into this 17 area off of a simple break here of 1550. I think the risk to reward might be here. You have about $1.50 to the bottom, and if you get to 17, that's your $1.50, let alone taking out 18, and then that's when we make a little bit of money as we run to the 200 period. Am I a little off here with, someone said I'm high by thinking that Meta would go down to 400. Am I the same thing here, thinking UNG has a chance?
I don't see it, Sean. I mean, I don't like these stocks with a declining 50, 100, 150, 200-day moving average. If it got going, I think you would look at that 18 level, which was the December low, as well as it's the year-to-date anchored VWAP. So that would be your first important level. And really, it was kind of the highs in March as well. So 1780 to 1810 or so. But I just don't see it personally. It is. I mean, and also you look at it, it's up from 1390 to 15.5. So it's just rallied 10% here in the last week and a half. I don't think you want to buy a stock in a downtrend after it's been up 10% in a week and a half, when every other rally has been stuffed for the last, what is it, decade in this thing?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I don't even want to pull back a weekly chart. I'm going to stay away from all of that. Nice move up in gold, though. I mean, me and you talked about that as well. I think a little bit of a flight to safety, as I guess it's higher for longer, Mr. Shannon. But I have your Alpha Trends, X page. Keep calling it Twitter, but there he is. There's a handsome gentleman right there. I like the goatee, though. I like the goatee. Brian Shannon, go follow this guy. Here's a book. This is an amazing one that we've already talked about. Go grab it on Amazon. It's VWAP. It's amazing. It's Maximum Trading Gains, and we have it right here. And I'm going to keep on promoting this. If we flip over here, Fabian, we'll be able to show that I'm holding this right now, and this goes around the floor, and Adara's reading it right now as we speak as well. I think this is great for not only advanced traders, but also beginners alike. They can find that on Amazon, Alpha Trends. Anything else we want to promote here, Brian? Because I am forever indebted to you for coming on the show.
No, Sean, I've never once asked you to promote it, and it continually amazes me that you do it every single week. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem, Brian. And I'm also going to invite you up here. Whenever you're in, the lovely country of Canada, you are going to be visiting Toronto. You've never been to Toronto, or have you?
I have, yeah.
Oh, perfect. And you like it?
I like Toronto. The way I remembered it, Sean, was live in Toronto and play in Montreal.
Okay, I'm down with that. I got about a 5 hour. Yeah. Now that I'm married, I live in Toronto and play in Toronto. But yeah, that was a good call right there. It's Brian Shannon. Thank you so much for everything that you continue to do for us. And you are right. You have never asked to promote. And on that note, Anchor VWAP, go pick it up. Thank you, Mr. Brian Shannon. Have a fantastic week, and hopefully we'll catch you next week.
You got it. Thanks, Sean.
That's Trader Talk right there. Let's go. All right, Adair, that's how we do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we do it.
That was awesome. Yeah, thanks again to Brian Shannon. Very nice to meet you in this setting. Yeah, anchored VWAP. Check that out. And it's interesting to see how it does kind of come into confluence with a lot of these levels, as shown there by Brian.
Yeah, you're using words like confluence and stuff like that. The one thing about this show is we try to dumb it down.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm playing around.
I'm not good at
You can
sarcasm.
use it. I looked at Derek. She's like, "Oh, did I make a mistake? Eat it." What are you talking about? Okay. Hey, look, just a quick little check. I'm going to wrap this thing up. We're going to pass on all that stuff. Sean's tweets, yeah, they're fun. They're fancy. Sticky note was great today, man. That Amazon long down there at 176. Let me just talk about that real quick as I go. We're almost done. It's 4:37. I got stuff to do. But right here, look at this push down for Amazon. So we put this down on our sticky note. I have no shorts today, only longs. It's right here. This was the trade. I was surprised when Amazon started to go off to the upside. We knew we wanted that 176 long. That was on the sticky note. Unfortunately, we started that party way too early, and we just got excited, and we got to stop that. So 178, I thought we were coming in back into these pre-market lows. I mean, we started the day at 179. We went down almost immediately $1. Once that 178 gave it up, we got out there on a 75 break. That sucked, so that was the fail. But then we were pretty good at Dara. We waited. We got 177. We got some of those out there for 50 and 60 cents. Then this happened, and then that's when the money came in. We were very, very patient. I'm pretty proud of myself to wait for that 176.50 and 176. And then when the iron was hot, we struck down there at 176.20, basically having the bottom of the day. But unfortunately, we do not have the top. This is tomorrow's trade today, Adara.
Really?
Amazon break 180 tomorrow.
Nice.
That's what I'm looking for. So we'll see if we can get that Amazon right now at 179. But before we let everybody go, let's just check in on the temperature of some of the stocks that we're talking about today. So let's see what Tesla's doing. Tesla right now holding forward at 153. That's a win. I don't think it goes lower. It would have already by now. We'll watch out for Tesla. I think if you can get any pullbacks into 146, 147, that's a jam right there. I like Tesla. Visa. I've liked Visa for a minute. Good report. We talked about this on the podcast. I think it's a good number there for Visa, trying to blow out through 280. It looks like we've done that right now. I was trying to think about what the level was. It's 280. We're over that. Tomorrow's trade today, possibly Visa long at these levels. End phase. Almost threw up in my mouth a little bit right there.
Yeah.
End phase, a little bit of a downside move, down 5 and a bit percentage points there for that one. Texan. Yeah, I was a little phased by that.
Yeah.
But right there, 165. Thanks, Fabian, for that one as well. 175 for Texas Instruments. Look, I just got to thank everybody. You know what we do by thanking people and how exactly do we do that? We do that with the roll call. So let's go right now. Where's my thing? There it is. It's the roll call. Again, Adara, eventually I'm going to have you do the roll call.
Okay. Yeah.
Should that be fun?
That'd be interesting. I've done it a couple times with our show for sure.
The thing is, I don't think you speak fast enough for the roll call.
Is that sarcasm?
All right, who's here right now? Let's go. It's roll call time. Yeah, I think you'll be fine on the roll call.
I was going to say, they're going to speak pretty quickly, yeah.
Potentially. Man, we're having fun. This is what we're doing.
We're having a great time.
You know, thanks for rocking the after show, says Chef Joe. So we'll start the shout outs right now. Shout out to Chef Joe. Shout out to everybody, first of all, right now. Thank you to D. Westermeyer's here. Hold my beer. Take Profit Tom. Stan is here. Patrick Langlois. I don't know why your guy Sharif says Langlois, he says. I think it's Langlois.
It looks like Langlois, but there's an
like it's
L
French.
there. Yeah, I don't know.
Tesla, go long. What's up to Leo? What's up to Bears versus Bulls? Couldn't do this without you. That's for sure. Shout out to Mike Pena, Brad Gober, and it's Matt, right? Is that who's here today? Matt, get over here, Matt. You're going to come on the after show right now. We got to give a big shout out to Matt, visiting us from where? Here in Toronto. Nice to meet you. I've already seen you before. That's Adara. Have you met Adara yet? We don't have a mic, so that's fine. I'll talk to you after. Thanks, Matt. You're live on the after show right there. 2,400. Not bad.
Nice.
Adara, thank you for the show again. I thought we did pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a wrap. Tomorrow we have monster earnings again. I just looked up Meta.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for Meta. A $500 name. That's going to move.
I'm excited.
You think it's going to be a mega Meta move?
Well, yeah, we'll have to find out if it's meta or if it's a bit more of a micro move. I think, we had the dividend drop last quarter, so we'll have to see if Mark Zuckerberg and his team can step it up.
All right, let's go. Tomorrow, see us live at 8:30. Both Adara, myself, Sharif, someone named Brendan, Neil will be here. Who am I missing? We've got Fabian. We've got Ramin. Ty behind.
Yeah.
That's it. Mark, shout out to Mark. Are you seeing the podcast room?
Oh yeah, I've seen like little hints. I've seen sneak
We're about
previews.
to throw down the podcasts.
I'm excited.
You want to do a podcast with me? What would it be?
I don't know. I'd be interested. We'd
All
have
right.
to see what it would be about. But yeah, I think I feel like I have a.
We'll figure it out.
I would chat.
We'll figure it out. Chilling in the Cybertruck. All right. Thank you so much for everybody watching. It's been a blast. We do have a podcast, as you can see. Thank you to Adara. Thank you to our good friend Brian Shannon, who continues to come by every single week. And most importantly, thank you to everybody. I'm Sean Katia. This is Adara LePage. I don't think I've ever said your last name.
Yeah, that's it. You said it exactly right. Daryl LePage.
Oh, that's pretty easy to say. All right. I will see everybody tomorrow at 8:30. Have a great evening. Cha-cha-chow.